Canada's agriculture and food sector for the future. International Nurses Day is shining a spotlight on the demanding reality of nursing in Saskatchewan, according to Regina nurse Mandy Borsch. As Director of Health at Creative Options Regina, she works with individuals who require highly specialized, coordinated care across multiple systems. Borsch explains that nurses are often responsible for bridging communication gaps, preparing care plans, and supporting patients through long-term challenges. She says the profession is defined by persistence, compassion, and the ability to deliver care where the system falls short. Saskatchewan is expanding efforts to combat human trafficking through a new partnership with #NotInMyCity and Paul Brandt. The province is providing $100,000 for specialized training for police and frontline workers this fall. Community Safety Minister Michael Uyghur says the training will help agencies identify crimes, support victims, and hold offenders accountable. Saskatchewan also invests more than $70 million annually to address interpersonal violence and abuse. That's 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sastoday.ca and 620ckrm.com.
Tonight, mainly clear and a low down to 6. Tomorrow, looking partly to mostly sunny. High of 27, but it will be windy in the afternoon. 20 to 35, gusting up to 50 out of the south-southeast. Tomorrow night, some spotty showers in the area later. Windy again, gusts up to 65 and a low down to 12. Thursday, spotty showers, high of 16. Friday, mostly sunny, maybe some showers in the afternoon and a high of 14. Saturday, partly sunny and a high of 13. Currently in downtown Regina, a few clouds, it is 21 degrees.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Sports Cage. Thank you for making some time and listening or watching, however you are consuming that. Colson is with me today, a number of guests. We are streaming on all the audio channels as per usual. We are video-wise through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com and, of course, always on 620 CKRM, which is celebrating 100 years this year. All of our guests are going to join us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Pick up a wheel, that perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, or maybe the Greek favorites you love, like souvlaki, ribs, salad. Also, we'd like you to participate through the Prairieland Rentals text line. Prairieland Rentals, 600 Albert Street. You get to deal with the owner, and if you need a lawnmower, that's the place to go. They have the Husqvarna line there, especially the robotic mowers with up to $1,000 off right now if you don't want to cut your lawn and you just want a robot to do it. 600 Albert Street. That number is 936-6262. There are a number of reasons, why you should keep that number handy today. Like I said, we like when you have questions, chirps, comments, whatever. Send it in. Also, though, today, if you have questions on what's going on at Rider Training Camp, well, let's ask Dave Thomas. No Luke Mullender today. Luke's busy on assignment, but Dave Thomas is going to join us at least twice today. So if you have a question, which some of you usually do, on Roughrider Training Camp, maybe it's a player, let us know. 936-6262. Another reason you're going to have to keep that handy, because we have winning to do today. All right? Right away here, there's going to be the first chance to win one of the new Saskatchewan Roughrider scratch and wins. $75K, and then all the other prizes. There's more cash prizes. There's two $75K ones, but then you have the smaller cash prizes and then the experiences that the riders are giving. Private suites for the home opener and Labor Day game. 10 years of season tickets. So much to give away. Those were released today around the province. Once they're gone, they're gone. We have 2 each show from today until Friday. All right? And we're going to give them away. That's what we're going to do. I know we kind of thought, hey, is it shady if we keep? Yes, it is. So we discussed and we got to give them away. So that's what we're going to do. We also have Pump Jacks Cathedral Trivia coming up in hour 1. We're playing for $100. Okay? $100. The question will be based around the Prince Albert Raiders. There is your tease. Also joining us in hour 1, voice of those Prince Albert Raiders, Nick Nielsen, as they get set for Game 3 in Prince Albert tonight. That's where I'm going right after this show. If you're watching the YouTube stream, you see I'm in the Saskatoon studio, and then I'm hightailing it, as my mom would say, to Prince Albert to watch Game 3, Everett and the Raiders. I'll have video. I'm going to document so many things. We'll have it on the show tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. In hour 2, Arash Madani joins us. With Arash, we're going to talk CFL training camps. We're going to talk Jake Mayer, little Roland Milligan, Blue Jays, and more with Arash. More from training camp with Dave Thomas in hour 2. Clutch Performer, Sprinkle of the Day. Sprinkle of the Day gets really interesting this week as the PGA Championship fires up on Thursday. We're going to stick to maybe hockey today, maybe some basketball with Colson. Hour 3, winning keeps coming along with Glen Suitor. And we're going to have an update from the Centennial Cup in Summerside PEI. The Flin Flon Bombers had the day off. The Flin Flon Bombers are in one now. Their pool and how this tournament is shaking down is very interesting. They didn't make it easy on themselves. We're going to talk to Commissioner of the SJHL, Kyle McIntyre, in hour 3. Hope that sounds like a good show. I hope you're ready. Yesterday, great show, wall-to-wall football. Today, we'll sprinkle in a little hockey. We'll sprinkle in a little fun. But I'm curious on a couple of things with Dave Thomas and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So if you guys, look at already, 936-6262. If you have a question about training camp, 936-6262. Okay, Colson, let's get to Coach Mace, though. First off today, we'll fire it up with Coach Mace. And today, it was pads. It was pad day. So Coach Mace was asked if he got what he wanted out of the padded practice.
Yeah, it was a physical practice, good decision making. You know, usually this practice we got to hit some sprints. We didn't have to do that today. So guys, we've been harping on the penalties. Guys were smart for the most part today.
I was wondering if he was going to say no, hated it, didn't get anything from it. Don't want to do it again. But that's, of course, pads. And the players, we've talked to Luke, we've talked to Schultze. They just want those pads on. They just live for that. That's how they're wired. And then Coach Mace again, kind of around the same realm. He said, did the battle and compete level get to where he wanted?
Yeah, exactly that. It was a good challenge. You know, certainly those pads come on. You're always looking for that first inside of the team run period, and it was a lot of thuds. It was a lot of aggressive play, which is the mentality you want to play with. So the guys understand that. Even the young bucks, they figured it out pretty quick.
Coach Mace uses that a lot. I love it. Young bucks. The young bucks. He's not that old. himself. But I like that. Reminds me of an old teacher we had, young bucks. We do have some one-on-ones coming up in the show today. In hour 3, Antoine Brooks, Dave Thomas had a chance to catch up with him. We also have Devin Adams and Braden Shager coming up on the program. So lots and lots and lots of Rider talk coming up. How about your NHL and what goes on tonight in Montreal? I know somebody that was in Montreal for the last game, and I think we talked about it on this show. Colson, correct me if I'm wrong. It's on the bucket list now to go to ideally a playoff game in Montreal. There are talk shows in the United States, and I know somebody's like, who cares? But that they are just blown away on the intro and the beginning and the torch and everything that they do in Montreal before games. If you haven't seen it, if you can, and I'm sure it's online now somewhere, we can pick it up. If you haven't seen it, it is a spectacle. It's something I need to experience. I don't know if it's like that every game. I suspect it's like fairly close. But this playoff run and what they're doing, absolutely off the charts. Colson, have you seen it? I know you're a hockey guy. Like you pay attention enough and you like her. I'm just blown away. So if there's
the atmosphere in Montreal,
the intros, yeah, like just the intro, like when whoever brings the torch, and like Jean Beliveau did it, and it was like Knuckles Nyland had it the one game, and then they get the kind of the fire going, and then they come out, and it's not even like they're not even playing Metallica. I don't even know what song they play. No one really cares. It just is absolutely bonkers.
It's very Olympic feeling where it's like this is meant to be like a fanfare thing, but if there's one team that can pull it off, it's Montreal. Toronto's maybe the next closest because original 6 and that fanfare and everything, but Toronto's a different mess. But yeah, no, it's awesome. When Montreal's
I actually liked Buffalo's yesterday. I thought that was pretty crazy. That's one beautiful thing I think about hockey. I've never been to a playoff basketball game. I've been to a regular basketball game. The intro's like okay, and then it's like, hey, out of Villanova State, 6-6. That's okay. Football, like usually the full team runs through now. It's not like the one-on-one. That's okay. Baseball, meh. Sorry, baseball fans, but there's no like electricity in an intro. And I've been to the World Series at Fenway Park games 1 and 2 back in 2013. Yeah, it was exciting, but nothing like a hockey intro. Here we go. I was very curious on this. What are we? We are, I don't know, let's call it an hour and a half-ish away from puck drop. You can get into the building, aftermarket, secondary. There's nothing available at the ticket window.
Go figure.
Go up there, they'll probably look at you like you're from Mars. Guess how much, Colson? If you just want to get in, Canadian, on the secondary market that I'm looking at today.
In the Bell Center. What bowl are we looking at? The seats you're looking at? Upper bowl?
Your upper deck, you're kind of in a corner to middle-ish. You're in the building, you're feeling the vibe.
Let's go $700 bucks
Canadian. That's a really good guess. That's what I would have been. This isn't that bad. Right now, you can get into the building on a single ticket, which I'd be fine going by myself. Everyone's going to be rowdy. Start crushing a couple of Molson exports, and you're all good. But $323.
Dang.
I don't mind that. Now, mind you, if you want to sit lower bowl,
Yeah.
if you maybe want to be on camera or you want to be stand up when the play's on and the camera should, and then that guy should always be punched in the face or thrown in jail.
Straight to jail.
You can do that for $648. Cheapest lower bowl seat. No. You might have to keep eyes on this. See, but the thing is, right? I'm looking for one ticket. And that's kind of the key.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I think you can still go with a buddy, but it's like, hey, we got to part ways here. And then we'll hook up at intermission or whatever.
That is the deal breaker, that you got to go on your own.
Oh, I've never gone to a movie by myself. I think I would. I've never gone to a concert by myself. I definitely would. I would go to a game like what we're witnessing in Montreal by myself. Totally.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
If you're watching the stream here, this is from Game 3.
Yes.
With Kirk Muller.
Muller.
Okay. Hey. It's known at this point. I don't do last names very well.
That's why people actually like it. This is so look. Do you have any? Can you sound this up? Can we get sound on it?
Jeez. He's not even in the arena yet. He's just in the hallway still, and they're losing it.
You know that he has just got goosebumps too, right? And this guy played in the Stanley Cup final. Oh yeah, there it is. Holds the torch up, and then watch when they hit the ice here. This is. I know there's going to be Oiler fans out there, but that's that. You know what? Granted, a Rider game, the bring 'em out thing, by far the best in the CFL.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you're from another market, Winnipeg included, there's nothing better than and now sellouts are few and far between. But when you used to get old Mosaic or old Taylor Field rocking, bring them out, classic. Yeah. So let's I'm going to keep an eye on these tickets. $323 a guy or girl.
While we're talking tickets really quick, I saw something the other day. So, World Cup's coming up?
Mm-hmm.
FIFA reported that they had sold over 5 million tickets since opening their thing, right?
Okay.
But somebody did the research, and they looked into the major centers, so New York, LA, where they're hosting a lot of games, right? And hotels in those major centers are saying that the World Cup right now is, for them, effectively a non-event. They're not seeing any increase in hotel rooms or anything like that, which means one of two things. FIFA's lying, which when has that happened before? Or two, a bunch of scalpers have just bought $5 million worth of tickets, and anyone who actually tries to go is going to be paying exorbitant amounts of money to actually go.
Maybe that's the game. Maybe that you're onto something. Maybe it is the aftermarket guys and girls.
Yeah, but like I said,
interesting story.
Has FIFA ever lied to us before? Yeah,
probably today they have, this week.
Literally.
At some point. Okay, we got a couple of questions on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, 936-6262 for Dave Thomas about training camp. We'll go to break, and then we'll come back, and we'll be joined by Dave Thomas. Still time to get a question in. It is a Sports Cage, streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com.
620 CKRM proudly presents the Salute to Saskatchewan 4-H. We encourage all 4-H members, including youth, leaders, and parents, to register your 4-H club to be recognized each week live on the air. Your 4-H club could also win tickets to Moonlight Movies for a free movie and popcorn. This is just 620 CKRM's way of recognizing and saluting the ag leaders of tomorrow. Sponsored by Canadian Agri-Blend, Heartland Livestock Services Yorkton, Cowtown, Weyburn Livestock Exchange, Moose Mountain Pro Rodeo, Whitewood Livestock Sales, She-Ho Sports Days, Mud Flaying and Ranch Rodeo, and Heartland Livestock Services Moose Jaw.
If you've been putting up with cold showers and hard water that makes everything feel like more work, stop waiting. Reliance Heat makes it easy. Rent a water heater and a water softener starting at about $1.20 a day and get $400. That means hot water when you need it and water that just works better. No big upfront costs, no hassles. Visit waterheaterrentals.com to get the offer.
Call on Reliance.
Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Springtime's here, y'all, and the mud's flying, and Uncle Randy's truck still sounds like it's gargling marbles.
She's running fine. Mostly.
Sounds like Randy needs Smoke'em Diesel and Performance. From turbos, injectors, injection pumps to full performance tuning, they'll have your rig pulling harder than a mule at supper time.
Dang, this thing's got more kick than my cousin at a line dance.
Smoke'em Diesel and Performance, located in Regina and proudly serving Saskatchewan. More power, more pull.
Hey, Regina. Ready? The Monsters are coming. Monsters and Mayhem crashes into Kings Park Speedway July 17th, 18th, and 19th. Finally, Regina. An outdoor, no-holds-barred crushing showdown. Featuring high-flying, car-crushing monster trucks, wild mini monsters, and gravity-defying freestyle motocross. Tickets on sale now. Get yours fast at outlawsofmotorsports.ca. That's outlawsofmotorsports.ca.
Welcome back to Sportscage. Connect with the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262.
On this Tuesday for Saskatchewan Lotteries, main fundraiser for sport, culture, and recreation. Okay, we said we got winning to do today. Our first ever rider scratch and win right now. You have to call. This one's a call. 306-936-6262. Toll free 1-866-767-0620. If you haven't won anything in the last 30 days on CKRM, call now. We are giving away, Colson, if you could put the graphic up there. Just launched today with Saskatchewan Lotteries and the Riders. Rider Nation scratch ticket. Got a chance to win two $75,000 prizes and then just a plethora of swag and experiences from the Riders. So we're giving the first one away right now, 936-6262 or toll free 1-866-767-0620. Let's go out, and we're joined by Dave Thomas for our training camp report right now, brought to you by the Red Zone Sports Bar located behind the Saskatoon Travelodge. David, nice to see you today. I will ask you this question first. What didn't stand out today at camp?
What didn't stand out at camp today? Oh, that's a good question.
I heard you guys yesterday say the question, who or what stood out? So I thought, well, let's ask the other question. Maybe who didn't stand out today? Was anybody taking a rest? Is anybody taking a serious 5?
Perhaps my performance on the wind sprint up to the press box didn't stand out. That was a forever dash. What else didn't stand out today? You know what? It was a beautiful day for once. Like, there was no real wind. It wasn't cloudy. So maybe Mother Nature didn't stand out for the first time because she was on point.
Okay. We'll move on. I just kind of wanted to throw you for a loop on that one. Hey, but pads. And we heard from Coach Mace, a couple of comments, pretty standard answers from Coach Mace, but they had the pads today. That always brings the intensity.
It sure does. It was dialed up today, but boy, I tell you, this group is a professional group. You got to tip your hats to them. Yesterday, you probably heard Darian and Luke were talking about, the discipline and, keeping things contained and on a professional level. And this group, again, the way that they are dialed in is so impressive. They get out there, they do their job, they compete hard, they learn from the mistakes that they do or don't make, and they're trying to progressively get better. There wasn't, remember 2 years ago, that Coach Mace cut somebody on the spot when punches were thrown during the first day of padded practices. Last season, things boiled over a couple of times. This time, don't get me wrong, there was all kinds of intensity, all kinds of compete from what I could see, but not once did anything get out of hand. Whistle blows, okay, we're done, we're teammates again. And that was very, very impressive.
Is there anyone or maybe a couple of guys that you can single out on that leadership front? Guys that have, maybe they were leaders last year, but guys that are really taking that leadership role. Can you pinpoint anyone?
Jameer Thurman, absolutely. Has, again, just when I thought that his leadership couldn't grow any further than it does. He's a vocal leader. He's doing a lot of teaching. Let's not forget that linebacking core is going to be 2/3 different this year because, of course, both A.J. Allen and C.J. Rivas are gone from a year ago, so it is going to look different. But, boy, is Jameer Thurman coaching up the guys beside him. And I say coaching up but like he's a coach, and it is exactly that. Like he's on the field working in conjunction with the coaches, teaching. They were doing some different formation drills, and there was a couple of bobbles, right, where guys and younger players went to the wrong spot on a different call, and he was right there to help out. And again, Jameer Thurman is doing a terrific job in that role. Of course, Trevor Harris, undisputed. Offensive line, Jamarcus Hardrick, again, he continues to lead the way and set the tone in a lot of different ways for the Saskatchewan Roughriders offense. And then also, you got to go ahead and it's kind of different, but Mike Rose also has grown into that role. Like, you know how fun that he can be, right? Like he is a character. He likes to have a good time. And I'm not saying anything about his professionalism or on field, but he is so dialed in and focused that guys are learning from him on the field.
That Jameer Thurman, and as you speak to him, now a leader's a leader, right? You've been around, you coach hockey, you've seen your kids. You just know those kids at young ages that are leaders. Sometimes it's good leadership, sometimes it's bad, but they grow into that. Any of that role, maybe did some of these guys pick up from a guy that's still there though, but a Micah Johnson?
Big time. Absolutely. And Micah Johnson, again, I had a conversation, and Luke and I kind of told this story. We were walking out of the stadium together on a different day. I don't even know what day it is anymore, but on a different day. It wasn't today, but Micah Johnson was there.
Sunday, Dave.
Okay, right on. Perfect. Don't they have specials on? Never mind. Anyways, Micah Johnson was just walking by, heading to the mess hall, right? And so just had a great opportunity to just talk to him. And he's talking about how much he loves being on the field and being able to be a mentor, but more so being able to show what he's learned over the years, the tricks, right? And so while he may have had problems working the clicker, as it was in the film room, he has got the absolute attention of that entire defensive line, which is going to look a lot different if you judge by what they put out on the field today.
Okay, we go out on the Prairie Land Rentals text line here. The first one that came in, I think, was from Dean. He says, a question for Dave Thomas. With the emergence of Daniel Wiebe in training camp, do you think that there's a chance that the Roughriders might go with 4 Canadian receivers this year?
Well, you're probably going to go with an American kicker and a global punter, so you don't have those Canadian spots, or, which strategically have been used as Canadian spots in the past. You're likely still going with 3 American offensive linemen, and yes, Daniel Wiebe has performed well. So too is Deshaun Mims, but it's going to be a depth question, right? Because you've got Samuel Emelis, you've got Kean Schaefer-Baker, right? So those are the other 2 guys, and then Del Duncan-Busby. So there's 3 Canadians, and to address a 4th, you're probably looking at Wiebe, you're probably looking at Mims. You're really, really hoping that you get a look at Dylan Jezete, who, of course, was drafted by the Riders this spring, but he's been nicked up all camp, so we haven't had an opportunity to see what he brings to the table. So is it a possibility? Well, the way they're lining up with the number 1 team right now, absolutely it is, Dean, to answer the question. But as Luke kind of pointed out, like, it then comes down to how much depth do you have? Do you have a number 5 if one guy gets nicked up, a number 6 if 2 guys get nicked up, right? And that depth piece is going to be, I think, what determines whether or not the Riders go with 4, but I can't see why not the way that they're practicing right now.
I know who this text message is from, but he doesn't like to leave his name. Ask Dave how local invitees Farrell, Borsch, Walls, Eben are doing at camp.
Well, Coach McConkey, just kidding. Walls has looked impressive. They're giving him reps and opportunities to catch the ball. Peter Borsch, again, this is the best way I can describe it, is that he knows where he needs to go. And that's a huge piece. And he talked to me again when I came off the field the other day, and I just said, how's it going? And he said, well, it's really fast. They're really big, but I've had such an opportunity to get with the playbook that's big. Corbett Eben isn't getting as much of an opportunity as far as reps go, but he too is filling in and doing well. So that's Walls, that's Eben, that's Borsch. Who did I miss? Did I get everybody?
So I'm reading other text messages here, and I don't know how. Farrell, Borsch, Walls, Eben. Farrell.
Oh, Jake Farrell. Sorry, quarterback Jake Farrell, of course. You know what? The advantage that he's got right now is he's got a mentor on his side, is Mason Nias, of course, who we know and love with the University of Saskatchewan Huskies, the offensive coordinator. He was just at the East-West Bowl, and now he's back in Saskatchewan and is a guest coach as part of the offensive staff for the Roughriders. So Jake Farrell has got that comfortability with Mason Nias now joining him on the field. Jake threw the ball, well during rookie camp. It's a different ball of wax when the veterans get in, but again, we haven't seen a lot of reps out of Jake Farrell, but again, he looks like he is comfortable with where he's at.
I want to go to this one next. Randy from North Alabama. Are you around Huntsville there, Randy? Where are you at? I stopped at a Buc-ee's in North Alabama a couple of years ago. Bought a lot of beef jerky. Got sick. Riders have a preseason game on the 18th and another 5 days later. How do they approach this with players, Dave?
The common belief right now, and again, this is subject to change. The common belief right now is that a lot of the young guys are going to get an opportunity to play in Calgary and make a claim for more reps during practice next week. I think that you're going to see some of the vets, or a lot of the vets, play here in Saskatoon on May the 23rd. Like Trevor Harris is going to get some playing time, because let's face it, it's 3 weeks after that game and before the Riders get another chance to taste game action. So you're going to see, I think, a little bit more of a veteran presence here in Saskatoon in the second preseason game. So less evaluation and more execution and making sure that everyone's ready.
I saw your piece. Haven't had a chance to read it yet. Very interesting at sportscage.com. Training Camp Day 3. People can go and read it there, but maybe give us a tease. Punter turned pass rusher, Devin Adams turning heads.
Absolutely. He was fantastic today. I talked about that offensive line and the way that it looks. And today they lined up Desmond Evans on one end. On the other side of that line, it was James Vaughters. Then on the interior, you had Mike Rose and Devin Adams. And Devin Adams actually comes to Saskatchewan from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He didn't say that he was jilted or given an unfair opportunity, but he really is loving it here in Saskatchewan. He made had the opportunity to sign. He did very early in the offseason. And if you go ahead and you research this young man's athleticism, Coach Mace called him a bull in a china shop today. And he was that and then some, winning his one-on-one battles. Very, very impressive with what he did with pads on. And yep, he used to be a punter.
It would be really hard because obviously, the punter aside, does he remind you of anyone? Does he, maybe for Rider Nation out there that hasn't had a chance to see him yet?
Oh boy, that's hard, because again, I really think that he could drop back and play linebacker if needed. I thought he had that much quickness today, but the strength that he had, he was taking on a couple of double teams today inside, which of course is the famous Micah Johnson move, right? You need somebody to take on those double teams. He was doing that. He was able to get into the offensive backfield, got at least one, if not two sacks. The second one was a little debatable as the whistle sounded early. I thought, depends on who you ask, but just an impressive guy. And yeah, to try to, it's really, really hard because he's got the speed and the quickness of a guy like Ricky Foley, who used to play on the inside, but he's a little bit shorter. Strong.
Should we go to the one-on-one with him right now? Perfect timing.
Hey, why not? You're going to hear how happy he is. And yeah, the kids, the internet isn't always right, but this time it was.
Here we go. Dave Thomas and Devin Adams.
Well, you're smiling ear to ear, Devin Adams. You just had a padded practice, it's not supposed to be that way, is it?
If you have fun, yeah. Nah, it's supposed to hurt and everything like that. But it's an amazing blessing to be out here, and I can't be more excited.
Your coach just said that you're like a bull in a china shop. That's a compliment, right?
Of course. Just being able to see things and disrupt wherever I need to be disruptive.
Tell me about joining the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Maybe take me through your decision to come to Saskatchewan and what it's been like so far.
It's nothing short of amazing. Great people, great coaches. Really in the offseason, it was just not the most, awarding first 2 years. And then I just got a chance, and then I just talked to God, and he said, go for it. You know what I mean? Like, this is your chance. And it's been nothing short of amazing. The mentality here, the way we do things, the way we walk around in the locker room, it's just a different aura, it's a different vibe. And I love it, man. I just love it here.
Your athleticism seems to fit perfectly for what you're doing right now. What have you seen from the scheme so far that is going to maximize your talent?
Oh, I've seen a lot. There's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of things to get done. There's a lot of places to be, a lot of positions to be in. So I love that. I love the accessibility to be able to do different things, be able to move around, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do it.
Now, there are some familiar faces, of course, on the defense that you've played with before, but Micah Johnson is a face that's synonymous with the CFL and is the new defensive line coach. How has that relationship gone?
It's absolutely amazing. He's super loving, super supportive. Exactly. He just retired, so he knows, like, firsthand, literally just months ago, what it's like to be a player, you know what I mean? So he's super loving, super supportive. He helps a lot. And yeah, he just cares a lot. That's the biggest thing, is the care and the love and the understanding of, I know you're a player, I know you got to get better, and I know you need support. So
I am purposely using the word athleticism as much as I can. I tell my kids, don't believe everything you read on the internet.
Yes.
You had a 39.9 yard punting average. Is that true?
Yes, I did in college.
How did you become a punter, and can you still do it?
Yes, I can. I don't know what it was. Just one day in high school, it was just like I did kickoffs in high school, and it was like, all right, you do kickoffs. Can you punt? And then I hit it one time, and it boomed really loud, and then ever since then, I've been punting.
Kick return too?
Yes.
How many kick returns?
Like 2 or 3.
Okay. And how was that? Was that a negotiation?
No, that was just one of those things where it's like, I'm probably going to get in trouble. I got to get far.
Well, it worked out well. And like I say, it seems to be melding together. You're a veteran. You know what you need to do to prepare yourself to be ready to play in the regular season. There's still lots of camp ahead, 2 preseason games ahead. What does that preparation look like?
A lot of due diligence within taking care of my body, being in the playbook, supporting my teammates, and just mentally just getting to the point where I can play fast, because that's the biggest thing, is when you think, you can't play fast. If you know what you're doing, you know where you're going, and then you start to know what the guys are next year are doing, then you can play super fast.
Devin, appreciate your time.
Thank you so
All
much.
the best through camp.
All righty, thank you so much. Have a good one.
The auction calendar is stacked at Ritchie Brothers, and an exciting Regina auction is happening May 28th. Visit their website or Regina location to view a wide variety of used heavy equipment from top brand manufacturers. You won't want to miss this great opportunity. Head to rbauction.com/Regina to sign up and be ready for the auction. Again, that's rbauction.com/Regina.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. Don't just hang a door, install a Steelcraft. Turn curb appeal into curb envy.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
Steel-craft.ca.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. Powered by Prairie Land Rentals. From power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need for your job. 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. Welcome back to Sportscage. Get social with us. Follow us on X at Sportscage. Watch our video stream at sportscage.com, and always on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back. We're going to have more from Rider Training Camp as we go along here on this Tuesday for Saskatchewan Lotteries, where today it was released around the province. The Saskatchewan Roughriders scratch and win $75,000. 2 chances to win $75,000. out there. So pick up those tickets. Only available until, or they're available until they're all gone. And then that's it. So I know some of you might want to grab them for a collector's item as well. So it's a great show. More to come, like I said, from training camp in a bit with Dave Thomas. But tonight, up north in Prince Albert, it's the Raiders and Everett Silvertips. Game 3. I am probably an hour and 25 minutes from this door to the Art Hauser Center door. I can't wait, Nick, to get in that venue tonight and feel it. I was talking to Prince Albert legend and comedian Kelly Taylor, and I was like, should we try and sneak in some milk crates? We don't want to piss off Cliff Mapes and Sizzo and all the guys, but it's going to be electric. I can't wait to feel it. But first off, let's go. Tough news for the Raiders. Daxon Rudolph not playing in the game. Suspension in game 2. I was watching. I haven't seen it. It was a cross-check, a 5-minute major. You were probably watching the play too, unless maybe you saw it.
You know what? I saw some fan video that came of it after the game. Rudolph definitely put himself in position to get punished, is what I'll say. You know what? Threw a cross-check up high at the end of the game. The Silvertips had just scored a goal on the empty net, and Rudolph took his liberty at him. The guy he hit was Carter Bear, who had his stick kind of hooked underneath Rudy's armpit at the time, and Bear kind of pulls Rudy in as Rudy goes to make the cross-check. So, you know what? I don't know if I think the 1-game suspension is totally warranted. I think Rudolph put himself in a position to get punished, and unfortunately got the hammer put down on him.
2 games, a split. Game 1, obviously, Sievertson, really nice goal to get things started. Everett didn't back away, though. I felt they were there right to the end. Obviously, they pushed hard at the end. And I thought the Raiders pushed hard in game 2. Don't kind of let the score fool you. But when you assess games 1 and 2, was there a lot of difference from you, a guy that's been calling the games?
So game 1 ends with a 4-2 score. Take away the empty netter, it's a 3-2 game. Raiders come away with the win because of a big second period rally. Silvertips scored the game's first goal. Raiders score 3 unanswered in the second period. That ends up being the big difference. Of course, they had an empty netter later on as well. Then you look at game 2, finishes 6-2 final score. You take away the empty netter and the power play goal that the Silvertips scored at the last second of the game on a 5-on-3 after, a couple frustrations boiled over. It's a 4-2 game. So a couple of really close games. And similar to the Raiders in game 1, the Silvertips had a 3-goal run in the first period, and that was kind of the big difference. And yeah, like you said, the games were close. I think you've really got a good example of why these are the 2 best teams in the WHL facing off here. You've got 2 teams that there's 1 3-game losing skid between these 2 teams all season long, and 2 really consistent teams to a very fast-paced hockey back and forth. 1 run of goals, 1 run of a half a period is enough to make a difference in the series so far, and it's going to be like that all in each game played.
We'll get to the Raiders in a second. Landon DuPont, Bear. When you got to watch Everett at this level with your eyeballs, who jumped out? Who stood out for you? Was it those 2?
For sure, those 2. Bear with a couple goals there in game 2 as well. DuPont obviously is phenomenal here as well. Julius Miettinen, though, the first line center that the Silvertips are running with, he's on a line with Bear and Matthias Muhanen as well, or Van Hunnen, pardon me. He's looked that whole first line for the Silvertips has looked really good. Miettinen was phenomenal in game 2. 3 assists and a goal. Scored the empty netter. Put 2 assists, real nice plays off of the pad and out to the Bear on the other side. Shots that you could see were intended for a rebound sort of thing. And then the third assist I think he had was another shot he put on goal that rebound was banged in on as well too. So Julius Miettinen's been really, really sharp for the Silvertips and probably the guy that stands out the most.
I'm listening to the game, listening to your call. This Brock Cripps, I'm just blown away that he's 16, and doing what he's doing, quarterback in a power play. He reminds me, and people in Regina will know this. He reminds me of a kid that's playing with the Regina Pat Canadians and Riker Doka. Not the very biggest, but man, can he control a power play? You got to watch him all year, like Brock Cripps. How do you describe him to people that haven't seen him play?
So I'll go with an old Bobby Hull quote that I heard earlier this year. I can't remember who he was describing, but Cripps has this ability to stop on a dime and give you change. And I don't understand what he does and how he sees the space on the ice that he does, because he just does these things. I've straight up said on the call, I don't know how to describe what he just did, because he'll go into the corner, his chest will be going one direction, his hips will be going the other direction. They'll reverse 2 or 3 times, and then all of a sudden he's gone into open space. He is so shifty and so smart with the puck. I think back to his first one of his first games of the season. Second game of the year against Saskatchewan Blades. The Raiders put him out on the second overtime shift. And, he started to get the shiftiness going a little bit, but he blew a tire. All of a sudden, Blades took the puck away, went down the ice, scored on a breakaway, and that was the end of overtime. And you can tell that's a moment, I think, that's really stuck with Brock all year long, because now he's been picking his spots with a little bit more, and he's been a lot smarter with things. You could just see the growth from that one spot where all of a sudden a kid goes, I have to change a little bit if I'm going to continue to dominate the way I had in AAA and prep school. And 16 years old, he still does. Like our Braden Coots, who started the year in the NHL with the Vancouver Canucks, he said straight up that Cripps, he's a nightmare to go against in practice, because you just don't understand where he's going to go. He's so shifty.
I think how you describe it there is just bang on. Is there anything that PA needs to do in this game? Obviously, early, the momentum, they're going to have the crowd. If Everett does pot one early, maybe a little bit, it'll take the crowd out of it, but I expect it loud and massive energy all night. But is there anything PA needs to do, especially with Rudolph out of the lineup tonight, Nick?
I think it just be simple with how they move the puck up the ice here. They've done a really good job of taking away the middle of the ice for the Silvertips in the defensive zone. And I think the Raiders have done a good job of not trying to force things through the middle when it comes to the offensive zone. I think the Raiders have done a really good job kind of cycling the puck around the outside and finding ways to tire the Silvertips out before kind of getting that grade A opportunity. But that becomes harder when you don't have Rudolph in the lineup, because he moves that puck so well. So, you're going to have to be a little bit more simple. You're probably going to have to rely on your forwards in the offensive zone to cycle the puck down low in the corners a little bit more. Maybe don't expect your defensemen to get as involved in the play here as much. I'm not sure what the defensive pairs are going to look like for the Raiders here tonight. But, Justice Christensen, I'm going to guess he's probably playing with a younger guy here tonight. Probably going to have to serve a bit more of a full-time sit-at-home defenseman sort of role here, instead of being that dynamic step up into the play kind of thing here as much. So I think, you might see a little bit of the Raiders defense sitting back a bit tonight here to try and kind of mitigate for that, just because Rudolph's such a special talent when it comes to stepping up or staying back. He knows how to pick his spots well. But yeah, that's the biggest thing, is just moving the puck simply, and that you can't try and force things through the middle here, and just be smart with things.
What a beautiful day. What like the tail. I may be hoping to get there for the end of the tailgate, but I got before I let you go. And you're usually calling the game, but I had Cam Moon on a couple of weeks ago, and he's called so many games in the Western Hockey League, dating back to and playing in the league as well. But if when I go to the concession, he said it's the most underrated concession in the Western Hockey League. What should I get at the Art Hauser Center from the concession?
Man, the dry ribs are always my go-to, and that's usually my pregame meal is a thing of dry ribs. And I'm superstitious, so even with the tailgate going on, I might still be going for those things. So
dry ribs. I see. I would like to get to Venice House, but I won't have enough time. Nick, it's exciting. I can't wait. To get in there and just experience it and be able to talk about it here for into tomorrow and the rest of the week. Obviously, have a great call. Thanks for doing this. I know you got to run to the rink, and maybe catch you there at some point tonight.
Absolutely. One thing I got to tell people before we go, though, don't forget, you're in the province of Saskatchewan, head on to the Raiders website. You don't want to miss out on the 50-50. It's been like $100,000 take home here the last games there against Medicine Hat last round. And if you're within the province of Saskatchewan, you can buy tickets online on the Raiders website. I think it's even open up right now. So absolutely, Saskatchewan's team, get behind them, get your 50-50 tickets.
I'm so glad you remembered that, because I had that in my notes. There it is right there. You go to the website, there's a little box on the right. You can't miss it. Oh yeah, there we go already. I can't wait. Can't wait for that. Dry ribs, maybe an 016, mitt full of 50-50s. I love it. Thanks, Nick. Have a good one tonight.
Anytime. We'll see you soon.
There you go. Voice of the Prince Albert Raiders, Nick Nielsen, joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Western Pizza runs a nice dry rib too. You know that as well. Oh, we're getting some text messages in. Benny, the Rochdale Rockets, on his way to Prince Albert as well. Look at that clear sky. He even sent a picture in. It is nice up here. I'm in Saskatoon, heading up to PA as soon as the show's done. Yeah, that 50-50s. That 50-50. I wonder what it'll get to tonight. Be well over $100,000. I think if you're in Sasky, you can do it. Just go, even simpler, search Prince Albert Raiders on Google, and then their website comes up, and 50-50. Awesome. Okay, Colson, can we get into trivia, please?
Sure, give me 1 second.
Pump jack.
It's time for Sportscage Trivia for Pump Jacks. Great food, cold local draft, and a place that feels like home.
Okay, and we're playing for $100 today from Pump Jacks Cathedral. If you were listening to the show last Friday, my clutch performer was the chicken strips at Pump Jacks Cathedral. I know I've talked about it a lot, and people text in and they're like, "Are you serious?" And they're like, "Are you ordering off the kids menu?" I'm like, hold on. These are legit. Best chicken strips in Western Canada. The menu is great. Kerwin's Crispy Ribs. They got lots of pints. Great play. The patio's open right now too. Live music on the weekends. Okay, if you haven't won anything on CKRM in the last 30 days, you can call in right now. Colson is standing by. 936-6262. How many Centennial Cups have the Prince Albert Raiders won, and when was their last Centennial Cup? If you haven't won anything in the last 30 days, 936-6262. Colson, you want to go to break, or do you want me to go straight into ticker right now? Okay, we'll go break to ticker. It's a Sports Cage. Live from Saskatoon, heading to PA tonight. Rider Training Camp's on. Sun is shining. We'll be right back.
Since 1949, Nielsen Homes has been providing you one-stop shopping for ready-to-move homes, panelized packages, and on-site builds. Nielsen Homes' team of authorized dealers all over Saskatchewan would be happy to help you turn your dream home into a reality. In the Strasbourg, Last Mountain Lake area, call Dean at SolidWorks Carpentry or call 1-800-661-6534 for more information. Nielsen Homes, trusted quality and service since 1949.
Sun's out, track's dry, I was born to drive. I am pure speed, brother.
I was born to merge eventually.
It doesn't matter if you're fast or fashionably late. You need the right tires this spring, and you can get them at Quality Tire. They've got the perfect new tires for wherever you're driving.
Safety is never in a hurry.
Quality Tire, trusted for the road ahead, with 9 locations across Saskatchewan.
QualityTire.ca.
Ever thought about working in another country? With International Rural Exchange Canada, you can. If you're between 18 and 35, have ag skills, and hold a Canadian passport, this is your chance. Head to Australia or New Zealand for harvest through the Away to Work program. Their experienced staff will help secure your job, accommodations, work permits, and everything in between. Work the world and earn while you learn at awaytowork.ca.
You can travel now, get away to work.
Winter in Saskatchewan tests everything, our patience, vehicles, and sometimes our bumpers. From icy parking lot dings to serious highway mishaps, choosing local matters. At Regina Motor Products Collision Center, we're Saskatchewan owned, run, and we drive these roads too. An SGI accredited full-service collision center working on all makes and models. Submit your SGI claim and book your appraisal. It's easy. When you need repairs you can trust, it's neighbors helping neighbors. Regina Motor Products Collision Center, south at Highways 1 and 6 Albert Street, rmpchevrolet.com.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. Rent a water heater and water softener starting at about $1.20 a day and get $400 when you switch to Reliance Heath.
Riders brought in a speedy receiver today. Goes by the name of Matthew Sexton. He's traveled. He's put on some miles. Young Sexton. He signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers, undrafted free agent in 2021. Spent time with Kansas City, Atlanta, Miami in the NFL, then a little stint with the Vegas Vipers in the XFL, UFL San Antonio Brahmas as well. Cup of coffee with the Ottawa Red Blacks at rookie camp. Game 3 tonight in Prince Albert. Oh, man. WHL series tied 1-1. Everett and PA goes at 7:30. National Hockey League, 5 o'clock. Montreal, Buffalo. The Habs lead that one 2-1. And then the series tied 2-2 with Vegas and Anaheim. Puck drop 7:30. Major League Baseball tonight. Blue Jays in Tampa, 5:07. Sportscage.com poll today. If you want to go vote at sportscage.com, are you confident with Jack Cohn being QB2 for the Saskatchewan Roughriders? Again, vote at sportscage.com. Sports Ticker is for Reliance Heath. Rent a water softener and heater for about $1.20 a day. Call on Reliance. Okay, we're going out for Pump Jacks Cathedral Trivia. Jay is on the line, I'm told. Jay, can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you, Shink.
Okay. Question. I got a feeling you got this locked in. You're dialed here. How many Centennial Cup championships have the Prince Albert Raiders won, and when was their last one?
4 in 1982.
Jay, nothing gets by you. Nothing gets by you. You know your Prince Albert Raiders SJHL, don't you? Congratulations, $100 to Pump Jacks Cathedral. Are you a chicken strip guy?
All the boys at Freeze Tallman are chicken strip guys, Shink.
Okay, you got. Maybe just get $100 in chicken strips and bring it back to the boys. Is what I got. All right, Jay, stay on the line. Colson's going to take your information. Yeah, 4 Centennial Cup championships for the Prince Albert Raiders. The last one was in 1982. Then they spun things around. Danny Hodgson and the boys won the Memorial Cup in 1985. All right, we're going back out with Rough Rider Training Camp in hour 2. Arash, Madani. We are going to talk about the CFL rule changes. Kind of knew a lot of them were coming. And then Glen Suitor in hour 3 wants to get into that as well. So lots of football coming up still. We're going to be joined by Commissioner of the SJHL on the Flin Flon Bombers from Summerside PEI. Sprinkle of the day, clutch performer. We got it all here. It's a Sports Cage streaming at sportscage.com.
This is 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station. Available everywhere in high-res audio with the CKRM app.
It's 4 p.m. Good afternoon, partly cloudy and 23 degrees in Regina. I'm Denis Conroy from the Saturday Newsroom with 620 CKRM News. A powerful spring storm is expected to slam southern and central Saskatchewan starting Wednesday night. Environment Canada says winds could gust up to 110 kilometers an hour Thursday, creating dangerous driving conditions and possible damage to trees, roofs, fences, and utilities. Blowing dust may also reduce visibility in some areas. Heavy rain is expected in western parts of the province, with up to 40 millimeters possible by Friday night. Saskatchewan is marking Aquatic Invasive Species Awareness Week from May 11th to the 15th to help protect lakes and rivers from harmful invasive species. The Ministry of Environment says species like zebra and quagga mussels can damage ecosystems and infrastructure. Officials are reminding boaters and anglers to always clean, drain, and dry watercraft and equipment after use. More than 4,000 watercraft inspections were completed last year, with over 750 boats requiring decontamination before entering Saskatchewan waterways. The province is partnering with Canadian country singer Paul Brandt and the hashtag #NotInMyCity campaign to strengthen human trafficking investigations across Saskatchewan. The government is providing $100,000 for specialized training for RCMP, municipal police, marshals, highway officers, and Indigenous police services. Training this fall will focus on investigations, victim support, and cooperation between agencies. Justice Minister Tim McLeod says the program builds on earlier anti-trafficking work in Saskatchewan. Brandt says human trafficking is difficult to detect, making specialized training important for protecting victims and holding offenders accountable. A Regina area farmer is off to a good start with seeding. Parker Shikowski says they started a few days ago.
We started Friday. We got spraying on Thursday, got ahead on spraying, and then started Friday, and it's been a good start.
They're in the process of planting lentils before moving on to canola and durum. International Nurses Day is drawing attention to the intense and often unseen work nurses across Saskatchewan carry out every day. Regina nurse Mandy Borst, Director of Health at Creative Options Regina, says nurses are managing increasingly complex needs for people living with disabilities, mental illness, and chronic health conditions. She explains that much of the work happens outside hospitals, where nurses coordinate care, support families, and build trust over time. Borst says strong relationships are what make meaningful care possible. That's 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sastoday.ca and 620ckrm.com.
Weather for Next Gen Coatings. Spray coatings for truck bed liners, rocker panels, and more. Same company, new name. 1865 McIntyre Street, Regina.
Tonight, mainly clear and a low down to 6. Tomorrow, looking partly to mostly sunny. High of 27, but it will be windy in the afternoon. 20 to 35, gusting up to 50 out of the south-southeast. Tomorrow night, some spotty showers in the area later. Windy again, gusts up to 65 and a low down to 12. Thursday, spotty showers, high of 16. Friday, mostly sunny, maybe some showers in the afternoon and a high of 14. Saturday, partly sunny and a high of 13. Currently in downtown Regina, a few clouds, it is 21 degrees.
For over 40 years, you've known them as Regina's trusted vehicle protection specialists. Now they're introducing the next gen of coatings. New name, new level of protection. They're now next gen coatings. 3 generations of their family have served your family, and that hasn't changed. Same owners, same commitment, ready for the next gen of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards. The company hasn't changed, just the name. Next Gen Coatings, 1865 McIntyre Street. The next gen starts now.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
It's the main fundraiser for sport, culture, and recreation in Saskatchewan. And we are giving away those Rider scratch tickets today. We gave away the first one in hour 1. Colson, I never got a name. I wouldn't mind throwing out the name of who won the first.
I thought I sent it here. Kathy Kosh in Regina got our first scratch ticket.
Kathy, if you win $75K or any of the major prizes, can you let us know? We don't want anything. We just want to know. And good luck to Kathy We will have another one to give away at some point today, and then tomorrow, and then Thursday, and then Friday, thanks to our friends at Saskatchewan Lotteries. I don't think these things are going to last very long around Saskatchewan, to be honest with you. Going out to Dave Thomas at Rider Training Camp in about 20 minutes' time. Also going to hear from Braden Shager with Dave Thomas when we do that. And then later, Antoine Brooks Jr., Glen Suitor's coming on in hour 3. We're going to talk these rule changes in the CFL. Personally, I looked at them and I'm like, okay. Yeah. I know that the time one, some people are talking about. If you have comments on them, 936-6262, Prairie Land Rentals text line, 600 Albert Street. Let us know what you think. But in the meantime, let's see if he has any comments on it. It's time for Arash Madani.
It's time to go coast to coast with Arash Madani for Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Gawley at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
No ties in the CFL. If it's tie, and we're just going to do converts. Okay, I'm cool with that. And I know some people will not like it. Some will not like it because it's change. Another will be like, some would probably be like, I'm okay with a tie. Personally, just me, let's try it. I would like to maybe see it go from a little further back. But then it's also, okay, well, then we don't want this to go on for that long. Well, I'm interested to see how it goes. Your take on that one?
Yeah, like I like overtime. I like the excitement of overtime. I like the hype of overtime. It's great for a little while, and then it's not so great when it's into the 5th or 6th overtime. You're like, okay, let's just move on with things. Like I look at all these rule changes, Barney, and like one thing for these ones, the one that got, what's the official word, approved by Board of Governors today, there's a lot more efficiency to the game just in terms of moving it along. Like if we're going to take 2 knees to end a half, do we have to stand around for a minute just to take 2 knees? No, if the defense doesn't have a timeout, there's under 40 seconds to go, and it's first down, all right, take a knee, that's it. Let's just all go in the locker room. Great. We don't need to stand around that long.
Because when is the last time you saw a fumbled exchange in any football above grade 8 kids? Like you just don't see it. So yeah, then it's just like, let's just get on with it.
The last one I saw, and I was there in person, and I remember it, November of 2022, the beloved Vikings were in Buffalo. And then Josh Allen's at his own 1 yard line. The Vikes were stuffed.
I remember that.
4th and goal at the once, late in the game, all they need is a knee, and they're trying to plunge, and he fumbles it, and Eric Kendricks, the linebacker, jumps over the pile, recovers it for a touchdown. That's the only one. So, and that's going to happen 1 out of every 10,000 snaps. So away you go.
If a kick goes out of bounds through the end zone with no point awarded, or a field goal attempt strikes the goal post and no points are scored, the ball will be scrimmaged from the 40-yard line.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that a lot. Like, make your kicks or there's a consequence for it. Suddenly it's great field position the other way.
Exactly. That strategy, that's gamesmanship. It's more pressure on everybody. That's the snap, the hold, the kick.
And the other part is, it's going to, and hear me out on this, it's actually going to encourage teams to try and kick a field goal rather than punt. Okay, what does he mean by that? Okay, if you're at the 50-yard line, the opponent's 50-yard line, you can attempt a 57-yard field goal, and if it hits the upright, they're not going to get the ball in plus territory. They're actually gaining 10 yards of field position because of it. So it actually is kind of like, all right, you're suddenly gaining 17 yards of field position because of what's happening there if you miss the field goal, if it hits the upright and it's a dead ball.
I think the accuracy of the punters is going to be a premium, and accuracy of the punters in nice weather or in a dome, which in the CFL you only have one.
Yeah.
But let's think about Saski, where it's always windy. Like, think
Winnipeg.
It's like, oh, what a beautiful
Winnipeg
day.
is
Have you gone
always
outside
windy.
yet? It's minus 50. It's blowing 55 to 60. Winnipeg,
Right.
Hamilton, I heard is really difficult. Anything probably off the water in Toronto. I've driven by BMO. We saw in Montreal. We saw that weird kick a few years ago. So the punter is going to have to be so dialed, and there's a lot of pressure put on there.
Like, I get punting's not sexy. I get field goal kicking's not sexy, etc. But man, special teams is like, it's offense, defense, special teams. It's a legitimate facet of the game. Your buddy Belichick always talked about the kicking game being that's how you win and lose games. More field position changes occur on teams, kickoff, kick return, punt return, punt block, than on a traditional offensive play. What's the average gain from scrimmage on offense? I don't know, six-ish yards in the CFL, let's say. I think that's a fair number.
Yeah, sure.
A swing on a special teams play, on a return, on a block, on a whatever, that can be significant.
With training camps underway across the board here, do you have a number one, a lead story in mind, league wide?
Yeah, it's the quarterback situation in Ottawa, Barney. Like, to me, this is going to be really intriguing because Drew Brown's been there. Drew Brown hasn't been able to be healthy. Drew Brown hasn't been able to be effective. Drew Brown hasn't been able to be productive. And now Ryan Dinwiddie comes in with a fresh slate. He wasn't the one who signed Drew Brown. My understanding of the situation with Brown and Jake Mayer is that their contracts are now set up where let the best man win. There's not going to be kind of this, oh, well, his cap hit is this, or kind of married to him because of the contract. That doesn't really exist with the Red Blacks. If Drew Brown does not produce in the first couple of weeks of the season, first 3 weeks of the season, I can see the Red Blacks making a change quick. That would not surprise me at all. But he's going to get a chance. The question is how long?
How long is that leash? For sure. Okay, here's a question.
Yeah.
Can Jake Mayer be a franchise quarterback in the CFL at this stage of the game?
I think Jeffrey knows the answer.
Jeffrey in Calgary would have an opinion on that. I don't know, man. Like, it's a great question. I don't know the answer to. He's been around, obviously. He's been, what is this, his third team now? He's been looking for a place to call home. He wants to do good business. Has he shown that he can be a franchise quarterback? Probably not yet. Can he, with a chance, with some real personnel around him, etc.? Maybe. I just don't know. Like, I don't think any of us know. The question becomes, is he an upgrade over Brown? Can you win more games with Jake Mayer than you can win with Drew Brown? We're about to find out, and we're about to find out quickly.
Okay, give me one more storyline as we sit here Tuesday, May 12th. CFL camps are underway.
I think this has gone very quiet, and it's interesting because for a long time it was like the biggest storyline, which is Trey Ford. Right? Will he be the starter in Edmonton? Won't he be the starter? How long is Edmonton going to roll with him? The Canadian quarterback who went to Waterloo and da-da-da-da-da-da. And Edmonton, cuts ties. And now suddenly Trey Ford is in Hamilton, not far from home, where he's the backup and there's no pressure on him. And in no way am I comparing the two at all. But I just wonder, like, is this almost a Sam Darnold situation where it was like so much, too fast, thrown into the fire, not ready. The whole situation's a complete debacle. What can just a year of being a backup, taking a breath, working with Scott Milanovic, also a quarterback, do? And what can he learn from Bo? And what can he do to reset himself? I think that's a really intriguing piece, not for Trey Ford, Barney, in 2026, but for Trey Ford in 27 and beyond.
What have you heard? Because I know you're always ear to the ground. What have you heard out of a Rider camp? You personally, we got Dave Thomas coming up again in a bit, but what is Arash hearing out there in T Dot?
It's so early for like a lot of things. One, Roland Milligan is still a baller. Two is that like it's so ridiculous to say this statement because they've just come off a championship, but like this is Corey Mace's DNA, like just all over that entire thing. So I don't know how many jobs, Barney, are up for grabs, honestly. You know, it's that was a good team last year. There's obviously some spots that the guys can win, but I get the sense that, and it's so early, but you know, you got dudes who can play. Let's roll with the vets who can play, and then if there's room to add a piece or two here or there, why not? The Riders should be the favorite to win the Grey Cup again. I haven't looked. At what the latest Grey Cup odds are.
Chakai. Let me.
Yeah.
For some reason, I always have things readily available when it comes to that. Futures on the Grey Cup winner 2026. No, there is value with the green and white, sir, at sportselect.com. That's our official partner here on the Sportscage, but people can go play this. You can just let's call sprinkle of the day within the Arash Madani. Sportselect.com. You can go there, you can bet on this, generate a QR code, take it to your Lotto Spot retailer, and there you go. Right now the Riders are at 6, BC Lions 425, Montreal Alouettes 355. You don't agree with that, do you, Arash?
I'm looking at this, and I would take 2 value plays. It's a 9-team league. Yeah. Sask is one for sure.
Hamilton? No.
I'm taking the Edmonton Elks.
16 to 1.
16 to 1. They got hot at the end of the season. They know what they have with Fajardo. Why not? 16 to 1.
You buy it. What kind of boat will you buy if you hit that? Is it a yacht? You got a yacht guy? Your ski boat? Pontoon?
I'll get a Jerry Jones yacht, Barney. That's what I'm going to get.
Remember, speaking of boats, remember it was the New York Giants? Ever since that boat picture, wasn't it the Giants? Since that boat picture, the Giants
didn't win a game?
in a dumpster.
The Odell Beckham on a boat.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay. We have some people texting in here about, first off, the kneel. I know. Let's just circle back to the rule changes. The kneeling. Some people are saying let's not make it the UFL. I don't know if people are really thinking about how this is going to work and what's going to happen. Or like, I don't want to get in trouble here. How do you explain it very simply why it's not that big of a deal what they're doing?
Well, I'll be honest first. I watch a lot of football. I have probably watched in my life a quarter and a half of the UFL. So I have no basis of understanding what the comp is with the whole UFL situation.
They make them double kneel. They make them double kneel in the UFL. You're going to take 2 knees.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes in the UFL. Look, I'm just going to... I get everybody wants to be mad about things. And we hate change, okay? Take it from somebody who spent over a decade roasting in a camera well, freezing in a camera well, and getting rained on in a camera well covering baseball. There is nothing I wish had been invented and brought into the game more than the pitch clock. Earlier than that. It's making things efficient. Let's get things moving along. People don't have the attention spans to sit around for 3.5 hours. Da-da-da-da-da-da. We want to get this thing going. Baseball games have gone from 3 hours and 30 minutes to 2 hours and 45 minutes, as it should be, 2.5 hours sometimes. We didn't like replay review in baseball. Look how good the ABS system has been. Challenging balls and strikes. Let's just try some things, see if they work. If they don't, okay, after a couple of years, we'll change it. But it's worth giving them a try just to see what it can do for the game. Because I'm sorry, I get people are purists. I get that they've been watching the league for 200 years. Da-da-da-da. I get the product on the field is great. All those things are fine, and the product on the field is great. But there are ways to adapt to get this thing a little bit more efficient, to make this thing a little more tight, and let's get on with it instead of standing around forever.
The attention span thing is big, and I know it's not the youth as much as we want to play that charade and that card. It's like, we got to get younger fans in. We got to get younger fans in. And it's just lip service until you really start talking to people that understand the child brain and what children in 2026 are drawn to. Don't go with that. It's just lip service. But the speeding up thing is good for all of us. Like, why not shave? Maybe it's only 2-3 minutes, but maybe that's 2-3 minutes where there's a review that now doesn't backlog things up. Maybe it's almost like using credits somewhere else. And the TV, there's the TV aspect. Just like your comments on, we don't want to sit and watch overtime forever. We don't. Also, the TV's got to get things going. Like, they got other paid clients. They got other things that they need to get to as well. So we got to move it. I think the kneeling thing, when I read it personally, it's a lot like when Sasky a few years ago, and we had to start putting in the area code before we called someone. People lost their, they were like, holy, what is going on? We are not American. We are not big city. Well, there's just too many people now. We got to have another area code. We got to put the area code in before we talk. And then now people are like, oh yeah, I forgot we never used to have to do that. But I remember the uproar when we had to start do that. It was like, holy, do you guys understand? It's just hitting 3 more buttons on a phone.
Just because there's change doesn't mean it's becoming more American. I don't know. I just don't know where this whole narrative is coming from on it.
It's just it's our what's the word I'm looking for?
Inferiority complex.
Inferiority complex. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say self-conscious. And for inferiority complex, which I get it. I used to have it when I was younger till I lived there, and I was like, oh, awesome people here. People are wicked, and they do things different. Some of it is, I think, right. A lot of it's wrong. We're more advanced in some things. They're more advanced. It's like the American thing. And I'll pose it. If anyone knows of anybody in the States looking for a CFL franchise, really wanting to do this, please let us know. Because I don't think there is anybody. And the league is here. They're going to add a 10th team at some point. Yada, yada, yada. Do we have any Blue Jay talk today? I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie to the fellas. I haven't been watching that closely.
So they're a quarter of the way through the season now, Barney. Okay? 25% of the way done. What
Can
if
I guess
I
their
told
record?
you... Forget the record. How about this? Guess how many home runs through 41 games Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has?
17.
And for context sake, Andres Jimenez yesterday hit 2 bombs. just yesterday. So through 41 games, how many homers do you think Vlad has?
17.
Yeah, 2.
Ooh, I was off.
The power numbers have kind of like disappeared right now. Over his last 11 games, 6 of 41 at the plate. So it's interesting because John Schneider was asked about it in his pregame availability today, in the manager's office down at the Dome. And his answer was, Vlad is feeling the weight of carrying the franchise. And the more he, feels that, the more you're like, whoa. Because you always hear, oh, he's trying to do too much. Okay, yeah, sure. But like, it's funny what expectations can do, not necessarily individually, but when you come that close to winning a championship and you're the face of the franchise and all those things, the effect that can have. Guerrero spoke with my old colleague Shai Davidi the other day, and Vlad said it was George Springer. He was having a convo with Springer, and Springer just told him, hey, go out there, be yourself, laughing, joking, that you don't need to put pressure on yourself. When you put pressure on yourself, you change your body language. You don't even realize it. He's trying to be more relaxed. So we'll see if that makes an impact. But the power numbers disappearing are wild.
It's almost like Vlad's a franchise player and he's got pressure on him. It's like, that comes with the territory, buddy. And the whole, Yankees lose. It's like, don't be lippy and then not back it up. That's always been my thing. I tell my kids that all the time. Like, it's like game 3 of the season. What are you doing getting lippy for? Okay, you have a really cool story on Brian Baker.
So Brian Baker is now the closer of the Tampa Rays. He closed the door on the Jays yesterday in the 9th inning. Brian Baker back in 2022 went to spring training with Toronto. By the end of that year, he's pitching in Baltimore. And doesn't he starts getting mouthy with Teoscar and Vlad and a bunch of the Blue Jays, and the bench is clear, blah, blah, blah. I was covering that series, and after the game, I went up to Guerrero, and I'm like, Vladdy, what was all that about? And he said, I don't know, man. He's like, does that guy think he's Superman or something? And then Teoscar, who was the first one on the scene, he's like, I thought Baker and I were cool. And then we're in the locker room after the game, and Alek Manoah shouts out to the entire locker room, hey, the only good thing that Brian Baker did was win our March Madness pool during spring training. So after all that, here's Baker on his 3rd AL East team, and he shut the door on the Jays last night.
Good one. Okay, I got to leave you. We got a text message in with a question for you from Jeffrey. Unless, I don't know, maybe that Jeffrey and this Jeffrey are the same person. Ooh, wouldn't that be something? Okay. For Ask Arash, hacked up your name, what he thinks of the Shane Doan firing in Toronto. He says another bonehead move.
Yeah, so look, did
he get fired or did he just leave?
They mutually parted ways.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to work. They didn't get along in Arizona. They weren't going to get along here. It's a great question, Jeffrey, because do you know who Austin Matthews grew up idolizing when he was a young kid in Arizona? You know who Austin Matthews really enjoyed having around every day in Toronto? Was Shane Doan. So that's an interesting one for a team that had 6 assistant general managers. Was there not space for a dude like that? But everybody brings in their own people. So fair question, good question. Honestly, Barney, Matthews' watch is on here.
I totally agree.
Will he be back?
Agree.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Let's play a game. Because first off, tomorrow, Turo versus Flin Flon. It's our pie in the face game.
Pie in the face game.
Pie in the face game. I don't know when we'll do pie in the face. Either of us, we'll let the guy that loses gets to pick. You get to pick when to do it and what kind of pie. But let's play this. There's nothing on the line here. Colson and I did this in hour one. I need to now. It's on the bucket list. My wife's not listening. I know she's shopping, I think, across the street at the mall. I have this on my bucket list now, a Montreal Canadiens playoff game. In Montreal, that atmosphere. And whatever, how much is that experience at the beginning worth? Guess, so Colson, those cheap tickets are gone. Guess what you can get into the building in 30 minutes time. This is good for me to know because I was thinking about maybe a last minute trip. One ticket, because I don't care who I sit with. Guess how much you can get into the building for right now on a secondary market? One of the most popular.
You sound surprised. You sound surprised in a good way. I'm going $275.
Ooh, you're close, brother. You're close, brother. $331 center ice upper deck.
Wow.
That ticket ain't going to last very long. That's a great.
Here's what's interesting, Barney. I don't know if you've heard this. I don't know if any other provinces have adopted it. But a couple of weeks ago in Ontario, they passed a law where you can't scalp anymore and you can't put tickets online for above face value. So if you go to StubHub, if you go to SeatGeek, if you go to even Ticketmaster resale, whatever the face value on the seat is and you want to resell them, I know.
Oh, whoa.
That changes the dynamic a lot.
If they would have done that in Philadelphia for the Knicks people come.
Oh, I know.
That's not the game. Hey, trust me, I've been so. That's what I used to buy. I used to buy tickets outside of Chase Field in Phoenix on the regular to Diamondbacks game. $8, $10. Let's just get in the building. Kids were young. They hung out in that kids area up top and hit balls and all that. And they would be guys outside. And I said to my wife, it's April. It's 25 degrees. The sun is shining. I think when I retire, this is another one of my retirement jobs. I would like to be one of these because they're all licensed in Phoenix. I think I could do that job quite easily because I've been in sales for 20 some years. Or I'd like to be the rickshaw guy. I'd like to drive people in the rickshaw back to their vehicles.
Okay.
And you get some exercise out of it, play some tunes. I'd play nonstop rock set in my rickshaw, but that's maybe some Richard Marx. But that's just me. It's on the bucket list. Go to the Montreal Canadiens game and be a ticket broker outside of a stadium in Phoenix.
Amen.
Life's goals, buddy.
Amen.
Life's goals. All right. Thursday, we'll know who wins, Turo and Flin Flon, and then we can.
Oh, boy. We get the pies ready for next week.
It'll be fun. Have a good one, bud. See ya.
Yeah.
Coast to Coast with Arash Madani, brought to you by Brian Golly. Smart investing solutions. Be smart with your money. Call on Brian Golly. Okay, we're going to bump Clutch Performer back a bit. We already did Sprinkle of the Day. We're going to go to break. When we come back, Dave Thomas, our training camp report. It's a Sportscage on the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
Hey, Regina. Ready? The monsters are coming. Monsters and Mayhem crashes into Kings Park Speedway July 17th, 18th, and 19th. Finally, Regina. An outdoor, no-holds-barred crushing showdown. Featuring high-flying, car-crushing monster trucks, wild mini monsters, and gravity-defying freestyle motocross. Tickets on sale now. Get yours fast at outlawsofmotorsports.ca. That's outlawsofmotorsports.ca.
Hello?
What's your favorite garage door specialist?
What?
You like scary movies? Because I've seen what happens when you ignore that grinding noise.
But it's just a little squeak.
That's what they all say. Until the door won't open. Or worse, won't close. So call Busy Bee Doors.
Well, why didn't you just lead with that? Jeez.
Call Busy Bee Doors. They can fix or replace any commercial or garage door. It's a real scream. Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
Gordon tells us why he called Brian Golly of Smart Investing Solutions.
Well, actually, we heard Brian's commercial on CKRM, and at the time I was just retiring, so I was looking for a financial advisor. I would recommend my family, friends, or anybody to contact Brian. He's a super knowledgeable fella.
Don't guess with your money. Call Brian at 306-546-2533. SmartInvestingSolutions.ca.
Sportscage continues. You can watch our live stream at sportscage.com, on our YouTube channel, and always on the radio. Saskatchewan's voice for local sports. 620 CKRM.
Another thing that's still coming up as well. Yes, we are giving away another Rider scratch ticket. Might do that in this hour. Might do that in the second hour. That's how we keep you listening here, right? In the Sports Cage. I'm in Saskatoon, downtown Saskatoon, heading up to Prince Albert as soon as I'm done this show, getting in the mixer for Game 3 of the WHL final. I can't wait. I'm going to report back. I'll post some stuff to the Sports Cage socials, if I'm allowed, later tonight as well. But here we go. Let's keep the football talk going. Let's go out. We're joined by Dave Thomas, live from the Red Zone Sports Bar. It's about 2 par 5s and a long par 4 away from me here. Red Zone is located behind the Travelodge in Saskatoon. Lots of screens, perfect place to watch a game. Great food, taps, all that, Chad. The Red Zone Sports Bar. What's anything new on the menu this year that you've tried? Make us hungry. I'm starving.
Oh, steak sandwich. Beautiful yesterday. And we even had salad with it just so that we did. So that's a great, they've got the best nachos, huge plate. So that's a great start too for your night. And the wings are good.
Okay. The steak sandwich, what are they putting that on? A little garlic bread? Are they putting it on a biscuit, a baguette? What's it going on?
When have you ever had a steak sandwich on a baguette? I need to travel with you more, apparently. But yeah, a little piece of garlic bread. Like, what else? It was beautiful, rare. It was fantastic.
No, maybe I've been given a bum steer at some places, but I've had a steak sandwich on different breads in my day. See, you never know what you're going to get, Dave. You never know what you're going to get when you get these hits. Red Zone Sports Bar, though, is getting a lot of love. I got to ask you, because this is our last hit.
Marty's steak sandwich on a double glazed donut. Attaboy.
No,
Trust us, it'll be great.
No, I couldn't put it on a donut. There's a torpedo bun for sure, some sort.
Yeah.
What's your take on the rule changes and just much to do about nothing?
I'm excited. I'm really excited because I think this is going to help game flow, because there were times in games previous years and you're sitting there like, what are we doing? Like, why is this just taking forever? And I really like the mandate of the league, the 35 seconds. And again, people are saying, well, no, you're extending the game, but actually you're not. And, they took a stopwatch to referees. And one referee, for example, had an average time between plays up over 58 seconds. Other guys are around 32. So it removes that variability. It's all 35 seconds. Play ends, boom, you're getting another snap in 35 seconds. The command center have got to be on point, because if they're going to interject with anything, they got 35 seconds. Their mandate is we don't want to go ahead and we don't want to slow and impact the game in that way. So game flow and tempo, I think, are going to be a lot of fun, as it's going to be increased with that 35 seconds. Now, they're not changing the last 3 minutes, so don't send too much hate mail my way. But I really like the game flow idea. I think the benches is a natural that should have been done years ago, and why they ever allowed teams that used to be on opposite sides of the field to actually change that is well beyond my knowledge. And then the overtime, there's no games that are going to end in a tie anymore. I'm not sure that I'm convinced on the 2-point convert, but again, my wife told me we were going to paint the guest room. I wasn't totally convinced until I saw it happen. Then I thought it was a pretty good deal. So that's probably going to be what happens here.
I like the no game ends in a tie. Sure. Let's give it a shot. Try it. I would like, the only thing, if I could nitpick, and I hate being nitpick guy, I would like to move it back a little bit, like maybe from the 10-yard line. I know that makes it more difficult, but then maybe, and I think it's just anything, like you've coached football too, right? You're just scheming. You're going to have a whole set of plays for two. Maybe in the past you had 10 2-point convert plays. Now you might have 20 or 20 plus.
Well, And I get you when you say nitpicky guy, because the one thing, and again, everybody likes to kick around their own ideas. So I'm at supper the other night and we're talking about this, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if instead of the 2-point convert, right? Because you're not that far out, but your entire playbook is open, right? Especially when they move the goalposts back in 2027. What did I say that out loud? Hold on. But what if the overtime format was, okay, so you've got the 2 mini games, but then the third mini game going forward, you have to gamble on third down. You can't kick a field goal. I know that removes a key component of the game, but now you're forced. You got to figure out, you got 3 downs to make those 10 yards and do it a couple of times to get into the end zone. But there's no more kicking now. Now you got to score a touchdown.
I don't know if you heard talking earlier with Arash. I think how kicking is going, your field goal kicker going to have to be dialed and everything that goes along with that. But I think your punter now, like there's going to be guys that there's going to be so much pressure is what I'm trying to say on the punters going forward to place the ball correctly. And the weather in this league, that's a tough ask.
It is. Absolutely it is. That's why special teams are important. It's a 3-phase game, right? And I really respect it. And if you missed what Arash said, go back and look it out, because I hadn't thought of it in that way, because you give the long field goal a little bit of a better boost, because why not? Because you've got that yards gained if you don't make it. And if you do, you just got 3 points. And today, just as a matter of perspective, the 2 field goal kickers that were out trying 49-yarders. They both connected. And albeit a little bit of wind, there wasn't a ton of wind here in Saskatoon today, but both kicked the ball through the end zones. So basically, you just kicked it 69 yards. And with the changes to the Rouge coming, right, because they kicked it through the end zone, they wouldn't have got a single point for that.
That is really interesting. And what you're telling us is both of these guys have legs.
Oh, do they ever? Yeah, and they just cranked him. And it wasn't even close. James Letcher Jr. is standing right on the back end zone line, and it's over his head. I was like, ooh.
I know earlier in hour one, somebody messaged in asking about Daniel Wee, but maybe on the offense with the receivers, Dave, is there a receiver, doesn't matter what his passport says, that's standing out, that's kind of taking that leadership role a little bit on the receiver side?
The surprise for me, again, there's a lot of pedigree, right? So Juwan Winfrey, a lot of people were talking about him thanks to his pedigree coming in and what he's done in the past. Jalen Johnson has performed very, very well, but I think quietly having a great performance that you see on film is Sayosi Mariner. Again, young guy coming in, learning this thing for the first time, and he is making plays, right? Luke will tell you this right now, that you've got to make the most of your reps. And albeit in limited reps, he is making the most of it. He comes up with the football a lot, and he makes a lot of great plays with the speed that he has.
I'm just trying to load up some of the questions here. Okay, it's not really a question, but let's dissect this. Didn't leave the name, but we'll go with it anyway. Bringing in the short yardage teams with 35-yard clock is going to make for sloppy football. On a long bomb, 40-yard passes in brackets, the receiver will be completely winded getting back for the next play. Might as well sit the next one out. The 35-second time clock will make for sloppy play. It's a very wide field.
See, that's where the rule change with the benches, I think, comes into play a little bit, because a smart substitution is going to get you out of that. And if you look, and actually, whomever that was, that is a heck of a point. And I wish I could mention your name, because that's a great point in what you're bringing up. But it's also something that was considered, right? Because, hey, we want to go ahead and we want to have our best players on the field running those long bombs as often as they can. And number one, it does fit into the time frame of the 35 seconds, right? When they did the measuring and making sure that the 35 seconds would work, there was actually some statistical analysis on that, number one. But number two, look at the number of times that ball is thrown deep, and how many times does the receiver take the next play off anyway? And there's a correlation between those two.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's a good point. Again, for me, I have to see it all play. I want to see it with my eyeballs and play it out and then go, okay. I don't know how we're doing for time here, but I want you to throw to this next one, your one-on-one for today. We're going to have Antoine Brooks Jr. in hour 3 while Dave crushes steak sandwiches on baguettes and nachos. But I want you to throw here for the Red Zone Sports Bar to the one-on-one with Braden Shager.
Well, there's been a lot of people that have been messaging me asking about Braden Shager. Now, you'll recall that he signed with the Riders in September. He was on that expanded practice roster going into the postseason, at which point he was released. He then promptly re-signed the day after the season ended when he could re-sign with the Riders. He's a kid out of Texas. He went and played in Hawaii for his college ball. He stayed there his entire career. He had an outstanding career. And like I say, people are messaging in from Hawaii about this guy. So as I put it on sportscage.com in an article soon to be released, from surf to turf, here's quarterback Braden Shager.
Well, Braden, tell me, your experience through camp so far, although you have had some Saskatchewan Roughrider experience, but first time at a training camp.
Yes, sir. It's been a blast just to play football again. It's been a while, since I've been taking, full team reps, and I got a taste of it last year when I was up here for a month, and I think that really helped me with, just learning the plays and everything. So it's been a blast just to be able to play football again, take reps, and, it's my favorite thing to do to be able to play football. So it's fun.
You're 22 years old. What did you take from last year's month to bring into this year's camp?
Just learning little things, picking up things that, you see the guys older than you do. You see Trevor, do certain things, and you pick up on that and try to mimic the things. I mean, he's been in this league for a long time and had a lot of success. So anything he's doing, I'm trying to be doing as well. And just picking his brain on any reads or anything like that to ultimately make me a better player. And it's been awesome to learn from guys like that.
I've been getting DMs from Hawaii. They say the question is, so how is he doing? I think there's no better person to ask than you. How are you doing?
I'm feeling good. Hawaii's got a good fan base. They're always checking up on me, but I'm feeling good. I'm just trying to get better every single day, trying to learn from my mistakes and grow from it and just get better with every single rep I take, and just knowing that I still have a lot to learn, but also that I'm ready to go out there and compete. So yeah.
There's obviously differences in field size, in the number of players on the field, in the way that the game is ran with a smaller play clock. What have you found to be the biggest differences that you've had to overcome?
I think the 12th guy is definitely a difference. It actually is somewhat similar to college because we threw it a lot and had a lot of drop 8 coverage. So I know a lot about the drop 8 stuff just because we saw that a lot. So I think I had a little bit of an advantage with that. But yeah, just, the 8th guy on the field and then also, or the 12th guy on the field, and then also, just the wider field and being able to make those whole shot type throws and, having to put it out there over the corners. Those type of throws are a little bit different than throws in the States.
Do you feel that you had an advantage coming into camp with that 1 month of experience?
Definitely, yeah. I knew that, they had told me when they brought me up last year there would be a huge advantage to, be up for a month, and I was all in for it, and it was a blast to be up there. Every single day I'm just taking notes, learning in those meeting rooms, learning from the older guys, and I think that gave me definitely a head start, is to, have a little bit of familiarity with the guys and the playbook and everything.
Outside looking in, it looks like your natural ability and athleticism are leading to successful opportunities for you. Do you feel that way, and how can you further take advantage of those assets?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I had a great offseason, worked really hard to get myself in great shape. It's the best I've ever felt, and feel like I have an athletic ability to my game, and just trying to go out there and show the coaches what I can do with every chance I get. However many reps that I get per day, I'm just trying to, go 1 for 1 every single time that I get a rep, and that's just been my mentality is, whatever they give me, go out there and make the best of it.
I guess lastly for me, I want to stay on Hawaii's good side. Do you want to send a shout out?
Yeah, shout out to the 808, shout out to the island. I miss it. I had a blast out there, met a lot of good people, and had a blast with my coaches and all the players there. It was a special place. I get a lot of questions in the locker room about how was Hawaii, and every time I just say it was a special place, and I loved it and loved my experience there, so shout out to them.
Springtime's here, y'all, and the mud's flying, and Uncle Randy's truck still sounds like it's gargling marbles.
She's running fine.
Mostly. Sounds like Randy needs Smoke 'em Diesel and Performance. From turbos, injectors, injection pumps to full performance tuning, they'll have your rig pulling harder than a mule at supper time.
Dang, this thing's got more kick than my cousin at a line dance.
Smoke 'em Diesel and Performance, located in Regina and proudly serving Saskatchewan. More power, more pull.
For 70 years, Freeze Tallman has been more than a building supplier. It's been part of the community. Family owned since 1956, Freeze Tallman is proud to grow alongside the families, builders, and businesses they serve. This milestone is about more than time. It's about trust, hard work, and relationships built to last. Thank you for being part of the Freeze Tallman story. Visit freezetallman.com. Freeze Tallman. Locally owned, family grown, rooted in our community for 70 years.
Getting in on more of the sports action you want is as easy as playing at sportselect.com. Simply make your picks online, generate your QR code, and lock in your bet at your local Lotto Spot retailer. Then sit back, watch the game, grip your chair, and high-five anyone nearby. Every bet is 100% legal with the chance of winning cash in hand. When you're ready to play, bet on the original. Must be 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
Get it hot, get it fast, Western Pizza.
Picture this, a crust so golden it could blind a superhero. Toppings piled higher than a stack of pancakes on a trampoline. Every bite, a flavor explosion. Every slice, a hug for your taste buds. Garlic, roasted to perfection. Pepperoni, perfectly spicy. Western Pizza is so good, you'll argue who gets the last slice. Western Pizza, dine in or take out today.
And get it hot, get it fast, Western Pizza.
The Sports Cage Clutch Performer for Keln Solar. Thinking about saving money by using solar power? Keln Solar is a local family company that can put solar panels on your home, business, or farm. KelnSolar.com.
Okay, Colson, I don't know if you have... I have one quick. First off, Clutch is going to be the 50-50 tonight. If you're in Saskatchewan, you can go to the Prince Albert Raiders website and you can buy the 50-50. It's going to be well over $100,000. So do that tonight. Game 3. If anyone's joining me at the Art Hauser Center, it is going to be rowdy this evening. But my other one is Kelly McCrimmon from that Dodsland. What's his original town? I'm going to kick myself here. Former Kerrobert Tiger, anyway, in the Wild Goose Hockey League. Kelly McCrimmon, absolute beauty and Sasky gentleman. The Vegas Golden Knights have not given permission to the Oilers to chat with former coach Bruce Cassidy. I don't know if I agree with that
Plenty
move.
Saskatchewan.
Plenty Saskatchewan. I was going to Liberty. I knew it wasn't Liberty. Plenty. Thanks, Scotty, on the text line as well. But yeah, that's a play. We fired you. Still kind of paying you. We don't want you going to work anywhere else, especially those guys in that division. I'm sure it's not anywhere else, but yeah, the Oilers. Yeah. So Oilers sought permission to interview Bruce Cassidy. And at this point, the Las Vegas Golden Knights have withheld permission from the division rival. Take a seat, Edmonton.
Yeah.
Colson, what do you got?
Well, we were just talking Hawaii with our Braden Shager there, University of Hawaii, and the men just won the men's volleyball national championship last night. So they get my clutch performer, and you can see on the stream here them celebrating. That was an ace. Wow. Spike at the end.
Yeah, that's real. I remember covering basketball at the U Sport level or volleyball at the U Sport level. And you just showed that clip there. If anyone's watching on the stream, women's doesn't matter. Men's doesn't matter. And now they got competitive volleyball everywhere. Like, it is such a crazy sport. When I was in Texas, when we were in Austin in September and we're at that high school football game, they brought us in. So I think I told this story on here before. They brought us in to watch the big volleyball game that was on in the gymnasium. There must have been 1,500 people in there. And the one, she's like, yeah, that girl right there just came back from China. She played pro in China. She's in grade 12. And like, she was tall. And then just the athleticism It's like, I was never a volleyball guy. Like,
Me
everyone
either.
played it in elementary school.
Yeah.
Well, if you didn't have knee pads, like, you had to shut her down pretty early, or
Yeah.
you couldn't go. But yeah, volleyball's legit, man. Volleyball's legit. And yeah, anyway, you got another one?
Nope, that's it.
I thought you were going to give us a basketball as well. But that's Clutch Performers for Kellen Solar in Lumsden, Saskatchewan. Whatever you need solar-wise, give them a call. They can come out, give you a quote, see if it's doable. Family-run company, again, out of Lumsden, Saskatchewan. Okay, where are we going next, sir?
Sports Ticker.
Sports Ticker, here we go.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
G League Game 3 of the final. PA 7:30 puck drop. Series tied 1-1 between Everett and the Prince Albert Raiders. And if you didn't hear, Prince Albert without star defenseman Daxon Rudolph got a major in Game 2, so he's suspended tonight. See how that plays out. Buffalo Sabres, Montreal Canadiens starting in about 10 minutes time. Anaheim, Vegas also tonight. Series tied 2-2 there. 7:30 puck drop. Blue Jays, Tampa Bay getting going in about 15 minutes time. And the sportscage.com poll today. Are you confident with Jack Cohn as QB number 2 for the Saskatchewan Roughriders this year? You can vote at sportscage.com. That is hour 2. Hour 3 coming up. Glen Suitor. You got questions for Glen Suitor? Let me know right now. We'll talk about the rule changes. I got a couple other things to ask Glenn. I'm sure he's been listening. And the commissioner of the SJHL, Kyle McIntyre, on an update with the Flin Flon Bombers in a huge game tomorrow at the Centennial Cup. It's a Sports Cage, streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com.
You love the country
And you love driving in your own vehicle.
You'll love it even more
When Municipal Hail Insurance pays all your out-of-pocket expenses.
Business is growing.
So are the number of claims.
Work for Municipal Hail and travel the prairies with a fun and motivated team.
When there's no snow on the roads.
Your music,
their dime.
Industry leader Municipal Hail is currently hiring crop hail adjusters.
Health benefits and pension contributions too.
Join your farmer-friendly insurer.
See municipalhail.ca.
You know that Extreme Hockey and Sport has everything you need for hockey, but spring is just around the corner. They're thinking baseball. Be all set for the ball diamond with team kits, bats, gloves, accessories, and training products all in stock. And let's not forget about lacrosse. Don't let spring throw you a curveball. Be ready with Extreme Hockey and Sport, locally owned, community focused, 1425 McIntyre Street at the Cooperator Center, now in Moose Jaw, and online at extremehockey.net.
Dan from Croft Electric explains the importance of reliable electricity on your farm.
Whether they bleed green combines or red combines, they buy those combines for reliability, right? So why wouldn't you want to have the same thing with your electrical system? You want something reliable when you need it and working when you need it.
For reliable, professional electrical work for your farm, see Croft Electric.
Do it right, do it once.
CroftElectric.com.
Spring's finally here.
Spring in Regina? I'll believe it when I'm sitting on a patio.
Then let's get to Pump Jacks. Patio's open.
Open now?
Yep, Sunday brunch, daily food, and drink specials.
Hold on, brunch and a patio?
And weekly live entertainment.
All right, that's not spring. That's a lifestyle.
On the corner of Albert and 13th, Pump Jack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet.
We are 620 CKRM Regina, a Harvard media station.
The news is brought to you by Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, home of Saskatchewan's biggest selection of Ram trucks and Jeeps. CrestviewChrysler.ca.
It's 5 o'clock. Good evening. Partly cloudy and 22 degrees in Regina. I'm Denis Conroy from the Saturday newsroom with 620 CKRM News. A powerful spring storm is expected to slam southern and central Saskatchewan starting Wednesday night. Environment Canada says winds could gust up to 110 kilometers an hour, and they could create some dangerous driving conditions as well as possible damage to trees, roofs, fences, and utilities. Heavy rain is expected in western parts of the province with up to 40 millimeters possible by Friday night. Flood conditions are improving in parts of Saskatchewan, but officials say some areas remain at risk. The Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency says 18 communities are still under states of emergency, down from 34 earlier this week. Some water levels are falling, while others continue rising due to melting snow. Crews are repairing roads and monitoring highways, with 6 provincial highways still closed because of flooding. Last year, Saskatchewan farmers produced a record 41.9 million metric tons of crop. As seeding is underway, Legislative Secretary to the Provincial Ag Minister, James Thorsteinson, is expecting another good production year.
We think we're hoping for a really good year. Last year we had a record crop. We're anticipating a good year again. There's going to be some areas that have challenges, but there was last year some areas had challenges, but we still came off with a record crop, so we're hopeful.
Currently, seeding is 3% complete province-wide. Farmers who have started seeding likely began later than usual due to late April precipitation and subsequent melt. Parker Schakowsky farms south of Regina and says they were supposed to start a couple weeks ago.
Been good so far, yeah. In the winter we had the 27th circled on our calendar to start, but so a little bit later, but it's been a good start, and we've been getting the acres in quick. So
he says they started on Friday and are planting lentils, canola, and durum. On International Nurses Day, a Regina nurse is highlighting the growing pressure facing Saskatchewan healthcare workers. Mandy Borsch of Creative Options Regina says nursing now extends far beyond hospitals, especially for patients with complex disabilities and mental health needs. She says nurses are constantly adapting care, supporting families, and working to fill gaps across an increasingly strained healthcare system. That's 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sastoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Weather is next.
It's Truck Month at Crestview, and yeah, it's a pretty big deal. Right now, our lot is stacked with trucks. The Hemi is back. Check out a 2026 Ram and get savings up to $20,000, or finance it for as low as 0% OAC. Or get a clear-out price on a brand new 25 Jeep Grand Cherokee. We only got a few left, and they come with savings up to $15,000 or 0% financing OAC. This is your last chance at Truck Month, ending soon at Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Weather for next-gen coatings. Spray coatings for truck bed liners, rocker panels, and more. Same company, new name. 1865 McIntyre Street, Regina. And Kevin's Marine. Make the most of summer with a boat or pontoon from Kevin's Marine in Fort Capel. kevinsmarine.com.
A bit breezy at times, but the wind diminishes through the night. A couple of scattered clouds at times, but those clouds diminish through the night. Overall, everything just settles down. Temperature falls off to near 6 overnight. The sky mainly clear most of the night. The wind is light during the night, but it picks back up through the day on Wednesday. Winds gusting 50 to 60 kilometers per hour through the afternoon. The trade-off on the good side, though, it's a warm day at 27. Some spotty showers begin to break out for Wednesday night. We drop off to around 12, and the wind holds through the night, gusting up to 65 kilometers per hour overnight and into early Thursday. The showers will be mostly light, a couple of briefly heavier showers possible. They continue to be spotty through the day on Thursday. Just a gray day as temperatures peak early in the mid-teens and may slowly fall back through the afternoon. Quieting down, mostly sunny sky on Friday with a high of 14. Partly sunny, just the chance of a shower mainly into the evening on Saturday. The high near 15. With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm Precision Weather meteorologist Phil Spivak.
For over 40 years, you've known them as Regina's trusted vehicle protection specialists. Now they're introducing the next gen of coatings. New name, new level of protection. They're now next gen coatings. 3 generations of their family have served your family, and that hasn't changed. Same owners, same commitment, ready for the next gen of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards. The company hasn't changed, just the name name, Next Gen Coatings, 1865 McIntyre Street. The Next Gen starts now.
At Kevin's Marine, the lineup is stacked and ready. Legendary Lund boats built for serious fishing and non-stop family fun. Stretch out, crank the tunes, and cruise in style on a brand new pontoon from Bentley or Crest. Or drop the throttle and make waves in a 4-wind sport boat. All powered by trusted Mercury 4-stroke motors. Right now, manufacturer rebates, dealer discounts, and low payment financing. Make decking easy with Shoremaster aluminum docks and lifts. Visit Kevin's Marine in Fort Capel or kevinsmarine.com.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
All right, I'm not going to give any updates on the Habs game tonight because I know some of you, and you texted in that you're listening, but you're taping it at home. Your fancy TiVos. So I won't do that for this hour just today because you gave me a heads up. Give me a heads up. I can do that on the Prairie Line Rentals text line, 936-6262. If you've missed any of the program today, you can obviously go back and listen to it in podcast form. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, Colson does a great job putting that out there. Our podcasts are for Freeze, Tallman Lumber in Fort Capel and Regina. We're right now, still a few days left in that Trex decking sale at either locations. Delivery available. Long weekend coming up. Maybe if you're going to do some decking, put the Trex down, get a deal at Freeze Tallman in either Fort Capel or Regina. So we still have in this hour Flin Flon and an update from the Centennial Cup with the commish. We'll go back Nick Nielsen from the Prince Albert Raiders as we get set for Game 3 up in Prince Albert. Dave Thomas and Antoine Brooks Jr. are going to sit down. So still a full show. And before we go to Glen, here it is. The second one of the day. Today it was released. The Saskatchewan Roughriders scratch and win in Saskatchewan. While quantities last, $75,000, 2 of those prizes up for grabs. Then just a whack of experiences. Private suites for the home opener next year. Private suites for Labor Day. 10 years of season tickets. Swag. And then sub prizes. Also some cash prizes. Anywhere in Saskatchewan while they last right now. If you haven't won anything on CKRM in the last 30 days, toll free 1-866-767-0620 or 306-936-6262. Colson and operators are standing by. If you haven't won in the last 30 days, we are giving you one of those scratch and wins. Again, you can get them anywhere in Saskatchewan. While supplies last, Saskatchewan Roughriders, Sask Lotteries, scratch and win. Let's get into it with Glen Suitor.
Time now for press coverage with CFL and Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Glen Suitor on the Sports Cage. Brought to you by Freeze Tallman Lumber, locally owned, family grown, rooted in our community for 70 years in Regina and Fort Capel.
Okay, Suits. Okay, you've been listening. The main takeaways from the Sports Cage so far today.
I love the rule change discussion and the different directions it's gone and the big picture about why we're frustrated with some of them and why we're not and should we be, and that's an interesting topic, I think. Love the Trey Ford. When you mentioned your bucket list, you forgot about the horse race truck driving thing. You forgot all about that.
That's a given now. I actually had 2 people text in being like, I thought you want to drive the truck for standard bred racing. I still want to do that. I have more bucket list things when I retire.
Okay. I'm just fact checking you now. I'm just listening in and fact checking you a little bit, but it's been an entertaining and enjoyable afternoon. I can listen when I walk my dog Maximus. I just listen on the stream and listen to the show, usually Tuesday, Thursday for sure, but often the other days too. And you can across the country. Yeah.
We got a listener. I love it. Okay. First off, they're in pads today at Rider Training Camp at Griffith Stadium. Former player back in the day. I'm sure you guys ran the pads more than they do now, but then that just kind of course, the intensity is lifted immediately.
Yeah, you get a chance to really see compete level, I think, when the pads are on. Again, you want to be under control, but that's part of the evaluation too, is to, when things get heated, let's say you're doing a drill in the trenches, offensive versus defensive lineman, and it starts to get real heated and all of a sudden a punch is thrown or something. The coaches, and if there's players listening, be aware that the coaches are looking to see if you can keep your composure. If you are thinking about the next play, not how do I retaliate and go after this guy and take a swing at him, because in a game that matters, you're 15 yards back for that. So, it increases the. But here's full disclosure on the pad thing. Loved it as a rookie, hated as a veteran. When you're a rookie, you want every opportunity you can to show, I can hit two. I'm not afraid to, get my nose dirty, those kind of things. You want to show the coaching staff that. But when you're a veteran and they already know that, it's like, stay off my legs.
Yeah. Understandable. There's a story, and I talked to Dave in hour one about this. It's at sportscage.com. Devin Adams. And the headline reads, punter turned pass rusher, Devin Adams turns heads. It's just a great story. This guy sounds like an athlete that he can play almost any position on the field.
Well, and you love guys like that, and not necessarily because you'll need a punter from a D lineman in a game or anything like that, but athletically, if he has the feet and the coordination to do things like that, play other positions when he was coming up through the ranks, then he's got the feet to be a great defensive lineman. And that's something that's sort of, I think, underrated when it comes to the evaluation of offensive linemen in our league too, is that in our league, unlike the NFL, in the NFL, it's about power, often bigger as far as, height, weight, that kind of thing. But up here, because of the yard off the ball, those guys have to have great feet up front. And so if they were soccer players as kids, or they played baseball or other things like that, and were real good at it because they had the hand-eye and they had the great feet, it's going to make them better offensive linemen. And especially in our league with the yard off. So yeah, when you see an athlete that can do a lot of things, even guys that can play hockey, when you think about that, the first thing I would, as a football coach, if I knew a DB or a receiver came in and was a former hockey player, I would say he's got good core strength. Those hips, core. He's got good core strength. He's going to be tough to bring down if he's a receiver. Yeah. So that's important.
Let's go into the rule changes, because I know there's people still texting in, and for me, I'm kind of prepared. Let's start first the no overtime, and we're gonna go to converts. I like it. Why not try it now? TV side. You don't want this thing dragging on for an extra 35 minutes, Glenn. That throws a monkey wrench into a lot of things. And I know the CFL and on TSN is king in the summer months. You don't want this going on.
We
don't
hope
want
so.
this going on forever.
Yeah.
So I would like to see it moved back, from I think the 2 or 3 yard line. I'd see it move back a bit. But first off, your take on that.
Well, yeah. I mean, first of all, it's 2-point converts. So there's, you've taken the kicking game out of it. So you're going for 2 and you keep going for 2 until the winner is determined. So there'll be much more practice time devoted to the 2-point convert and defending the 2-point convert. So there's different types of coverages, different types of, defenses, depending on the opponent you're playing. So there's that. When I think about continuing on, for us in TV, once you're in the stadium, I don't remember the last time I flew out after a game. You know what I mean? Like we're in there for the night. So, if it goes 3 or 4 rounds, I'd rather have a winner declared, and I think the teams would prefer that. 2-point converts, like you mentioned, moving it back maybe a couple of yards to the 5-yard line or something like that might make it not, it'll make it slightly harder to do it, because it starts to take, the further you get from the goal line, it starts to take the run game sort of out of the equation, unless you're trying to surprise somebody with a screen draw or something. So you're taking the run game a little bit out the further you get away. When it's on the 3, you can run it. You can run it off tackle and score. So, it's funny when you guys talked earlier about the frustration on some of these rule changes, and we've all had time to absorb them, think about them, look at them from a different picture. I'm not, the frustrating part for me, and the part that, at times makes me angry, whether it's these changes or prior ones a long time ago, was this perception that we have a few teams that don't make money. So what we need to do is fix the game. That to me, it's been a perception that follows anytime any commissioner has tried to make rule changes, and that the frustration and the pushback comes for a couple of reasons. One is, though, this perception that the game is broken, let's fix it by fixing the rules. The game is not broken. The game is ultra exciting. And so that, to me, that perception is a bit of an issue. If we can tweak and change rules that make it faster, make the window that you play a full game in. We were at TSN 20 years ago. The full game was taking 3.5 hours. Now it's under 3 hours for sure. And the closer you get to like 2.5, the better it is for the television audience. And just for perspective, because a big news item out here in Vancouver has been the Vancouver Whitecaps soccer team.
Yeah.
And some of the numbers are starting to trickle into the conversation as to what the business model has looked like with the Whitecaps. Now, if you're a soccer fan, I'm not criticizing soccer. I hope that the Whitecaps stay in Vancouver. I hope they stay in Canada and we continue to have pro soccer. But when the numbers come out and the Whitecaps in the last 15 years have lost $300 million, and the projection is that they're going to lose $42 million this coming season alone. $42 million in 1 year. Could you imagine a CFL team having to report that they lost $42 million? That's just a little perspective. I'm not trying to compare or downgrade soccer. I love soccer. I'm just saying it gives a little perspective to this narrative that because there are a few teams that don't break even in the CFL, we need to fix the game. And I don't think that's needed. The game is fine. Leave the game. Now, we've made some changes. The commissioner has made some changes We're going to see some this year. We're going to see some next year. That's out of control. This is not a vote. We're not, sitting here going, hey, I'm going to change his mind by something I say on the cage today. This is going to happen. So let's look at some of the ups and possible downs of what this could look like. I think we're going to see game pace increased. I think that's going to be a positive. I think in this 35-second clock world, we're going to see game pace increase. I heard the earlier caller, Barney, talk about the concern about a deep ball. Receiver flies down the field. It's incomplete. Then he has to get back to the huddle in 35 seconds before, and that may cause some sloppy football. I think what teams will do to combat that is make the substitutions automatic. And what may be a trickle effect of this rule change down the road may be increase in roster size. So now you're talking about one of the things that I've been trumpeting for years.
That's a really good. That's an interesting point.
You increase the roster. Now you have a couple extra receivers on the roster. Now one comes off way down the field. He comes off on your sideline because they're on different sidelines now. So he doesn't have to worry about going into someone else's bench. He comes off down the field, and a guy is substituted on immediately to replace him for the next play. So, I think there's going to be some managing of those new changes from coaching staffs for sure.
And I think we've seen that in all types of football when, a player runs a deep ball late in the game or whatever. I remember it was just this year in the NFL playoffs that had happened. And I think I needed the guy to get a few more yards, obviously, for a sprinkle. And I was like, no, what are you doing? Get back on the field. But he was gassed. So it's part of the game. It's part of the game. Now, maybe they'll pivot on that. They'll make it interesting. Maybe it won't be as bad as we think. I need to see it. I'm going to see it. I'm all for subtle changes. I know some people aren't. The one that some people texted in earlier too, which I think this is, and again, let's put your TV hat on, is a half or the game may end on a single kneel if all the following conditions are met. The defense does not possess a timeout. It is first down and the offense wishes to end the half or game. 40 seconds or fewer remain on the game clock. All you're doing here is you're eliminating the inevitable second kneel down.
Yeah, and we might be able to slide in an extra commercial. And you know how important that is.
Exactly. Once I start selling for you guys, I'll love that even more.
Exactly. So like on the surface, I love this. I mean, this is just why kneel twice when the other team doesn't have a timeout and can't stop it. We all know it's over. The half's over. Let's go to the room and go get your popcorn and your beer and let's go.
Or the game is over. Or it's just it's how the sport ends. That's just how it is sometimes.
Yeah, and the final 3 minutes is going to be the same sort of timing as we've seen in the past, and so that's why coaches have to absolutely make sure they hold a timeout for the final three quarters, and that's where challenges come in. But let me play devil's advocate when people say that I'm always cheerleading for the league, because one of the concerns that I have that I want to see if it unfolds this way is if we start, if the reason for all of this is just timing and pace, which I think it is, and which it should improve timing and pace, the bigger elephant in the room when it comes to timing has been the replay center. And I had a good conversation with Darren Hackwood, the head of officiating, just a couple of days ago. And we talked about the emphasis that's been in the offseason with the refs on making sure they don't call penalties that haven't been called on the field. They can review some. There is circumstance where that is going to change, like a late hit on a quarterback or something like that. But for the most part, we have started to see last year and the year before replay get involved when there was no flag on the field and say, you missed it, there was a horse collar. I think actually one happened in Saskatchewan. Now that brings the game to a screeching halt. And sometimes we're waiting, 1.5, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, which when you're in a stadium or watching on TV, that's an eternity. So, I know that they're trying to coordinate both of these things, some of the tweaks on the rules, but also make sure the replay center is there for what it was intended, which was to make sure they get the glaring and obvious on-field mistake corrected. That's going to be a big emphasis. So I want to see if that transpires, because that's where the game has slowed down, in my opinion, more than anywhere else.
Okay, now let's go to this one. If a kick goes out of bounds through the end zone with no point awarded, or a field goal attempt strikes the goal post and no points are scored, the ball will be scrimmaged from the 40-yard line.
Yeah, and 1 year from now, there's 10 yards less to travel.
Yeah.
So that's punitive if you miss. And remember that you won't get a single point either. If you miss a field goal and it goes out without being touched, then you don't get the single. And that's going to probably lower some scoring a little bit. So when you look at that overall number, that will be interesting to see if that is sort of something that they didn't foresee, that it would drop a ton. Because I think the idea here is that the teams will go for it more. They'll try to score more majors, and that scoring should go up. So again, these are all things we have to wait and see to watch. But when it comes to this punting through the end zone, missed field goal through the end zone, we're going to see directional kicking in a big way from the punters. They have to be.
You heard me earlier, man. Punters are going to be at a premium. And when you factor in that there's only one team that gets to play in a dome.
Yeah, they're going to have to be very accurate with their angle kicking. And it was an interesting at the Dogs Breakfast this year. I was interviewing Pinball Clements, and the commissioner was in the house, so he was there in the audience. And I asked Clements about the rule changes and specifically, this idea that moving the goalpost back in a year is going to create more offense and more scores, more major scores. And he said, well, think of it in a mathematical way. If the goalposts are now back 15 yards and at the back of the end zone, where do you have to get the ball to make a realistic field goal attempt? So when you line at the line of scrimmage, the field goal kicker is 7 yards from the line of scrimmage. That's where the tee is put. So let's say you're on the 25. Now you have to add 15. So now you're on the 40. And then you go back to the 47. So getting to the 25-yard line now is still not a gimme field goal attempt. So now let's
like Glenn. It's especially in conditions that we see around this league.
Yes. So now I think about it at the 35. Like your 35 going in has been a pretty makeable field goal for all of our kickers.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hey, Brett has a Grey Cup ring, so let's not bring that up.
I never said names.
No.
There's a lot of guys.
He maybe had a bumpy year, but he's got a Grey Cup ring right now, so that's awesome. No, but listen, you get to the 35-yard line, you probably on third down are going to go for it, honestly, because
and that's what they want.
Yeah, you're looking at a 57-yard field goal attempt, and then you add a little bit of wind like you're talking about, and a little bit. We see it all the time. So, yeah, I'm not, I love the fans that are really pushing back, because to me, I want to thank those fans, because to me, that means you're passionate about our game, and you, like me, think our game is just fine. But now that these rule changes are being implemented, let's be stoic about it and look at them and try to control what we can, which is to actually do the math, look at the data, look at how it transpires. And there's nothing here that says, and the commissioner has never ever said this. I'm not defending him or anything. I'm just saying he's not said, if it doesn't look like it's working out the way we thought it would, we can change it back. Now, the goalpost is a harder one, but you know what I'm talking about. Some of the other ones.
Okay, up against the clock, we got Dave Thomas with Antoine Brooks Jr. and an update on the Flin Flon Bombers. Let's regroup on Thursday, and we'll see. Maybe there'll be something else released on the roll front by Thursday. I don't think so.
And Barney, I'm a little concerned though, because we've talked about these Riders scratch off tickets, and you just mentioned that while supplies last. Now I'm getting a little nervous here.
Well, you know a guy that can maybe grab you one for when you're in June. I'm just saying, you could probably call the guys at Fries Tallman Lumber too. Now that you're buddies with them, and they'll hook you up.
Well, maybe I'll buy a bunch, give them a bunch, and we'll just go in there and start scratching them off and see who comes up with a big win.
All right, let's regroup on that thought Thursday. Thanks, Suits.
Thanks, buddy.
There's press coverage. Glen Suitor for Fries Tallman Lumber, Fort Capel, and Regina right now. The Trex decking sale is on. Delivery available. Call Fries Tallman Lumber. Coming back with Dave Thomas and Antoine Brooks Jr. It's a Sports Cage on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
Spring's finally here.
Spring in Regina? I'll believe it when I'm sitting on a patio.
Then let's get to Pump Jacks. Patio's open.
Open now?
Yep, Sunday brunch, daily food, and drink specials.
Hold on, brunch and a patio?
And weekly live entertainment.
All right, that's not spring, that's a lifestyle.
On the corner of Albert and 13th, Pump Jack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet.
The world is changing. From the misuse of AI and the rise of deepfakes to the dangerous spread of misinformation, it's getting harder for Canadians to separate fact from fiction. That's why having a trustworthy news source is vital. At Global News, we're committed to objective journalism that cuts through the noise. Stick to the facts. Global News, Canada's trusted news.
The auction calendar is stacked at Ritchie Brothers, and an exciting Regina auction is happening May 28th. Visit their website or Regina location to view a wide variety of used heavy equipment from top brand manufacturers. You won't want to miss this great opportunity. Head to rbauction.com/Regina to sign up and be ready for the auction. Again, that's rbauction.com/Regina.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
All right, if you missed it earlier, the Riders inked a speedy receiver today, Matthew Sexton. He's got some miles on him. He's traveled 5'10", 176 pounds, signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers as an undrafted free agent in 2021. He also spent some time with Kansas City, Atlanta, Miami. In the XFL, the Vegas Vipers. The UFL, San Antonio Brahmas. He also had a cup of coffee with the Ottawa Red Blacks at rookie camp. He's from Eastern Michigan University. WHL tonight, Game 3 of the league final up in Prince Albert. I'm getting boots on the ground. 7:30 puck drop. Series is tied 1-1 between Everett and Prince Albert. And tough news for the Raiders as their star defenseman Daxton Rudolph suspended 1 game for receiving a cross-checking major at the end of Game 2. We talked to Nick Nielsen about that earlier. Maybe have more on that coming up in a bit. National Hockey League playoffs, they're underway in Montreal. Series, Montreal leading 2-1. I'm not going to ruin it for anyone that's driving right now and watching it. Anaheim, Vegas, series tied 2-2. That goes at 7:30. Blue Jays in Tampa Bay just getting underway in Tampa. Sportscage.com poll today. Are you confident with Jack Cohn as QB2 for the Saskatchewan Roughriders? You can vote at sportscage.com. Ticker is for Steelcraft Doors, locations in Regina, Saskatoon, and Prince Albert, all 3 cities that I was in, or I'm in today. Made in Western Canada for Western Canada. All right, back to Rider Camp. Talked about this earlier. It's Dave Thomas sitting down with Antoine Brooks.
Antoine Brooks Jr. Boy, do you look like you're having a lot of fun out there. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like it's the year to be a leader and, to show that, leading is a great thing. And actually, just represent for my team, Roughriders, man.
So I do have to ask the obvious question, because when it comes to looks, like I say, you're looking great, but the number 5?
Yeah, man, number 5, that's the single digit that I chose, 33, I asked for a number last year, but out here you gotta grind to get what you need. So I worked hard, and number 5 was probably the number that called out to me. And honestly, I'm representing number 5 for Chris Payton Jones, one of my old teammates that died this year. So that's the real reason why I got 5 on.
It's very impactful, and I'm glad you told that. But, when it comes to a single digit, and again, obviously it has much more meaning than just being a single digit. Luke Mullender was quick to point out, he said, when you're a defensive guy and you're given and you can get that single digit, that's a point of pride because it means you've earned something. Do you feel that way as well?
I'm not going to say I fully earned it, but if my coaches, allowed it to happen, I just know I got to step up and do what I need to do just to have that number on. And honestly, 5 is I feel like it's a solid number. I feel like everybody gonna look at it and want to talk to 5. You know what I'm saying? I want to have a conversation. That's really what's been happening. I'm just talking to everybody. I've always been the type of player that that gravitate to people. So I think that's probably a big reason why I got that number, and the number gravitates to people. So everybody say I look good. I say, how you doing? How you feeling? Is your day good? So now I'm just excited about it, honestly.
Let's move away from the number, Antoine. Let's talk about you. And the coaching staff last year, I think, paid you the ultimate compliment when they said, we just can't take the guy off the field. He makes too many plays. That's a lot of pressure, though, isn't it, to have to perform at that level consistently? Nah,
I ain't gonna say it's a lot of pressure. I just think I'm a hunter. I like to hunt, So whatever coach, strive for me to want, I want to hunt and get that. So I ain't gonna never stop my limit, and I think my limit is pretty high.
This is your third camp with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. How do you make sure that limit keeps being pushed then?
Watching my big brothers. I'm very observant. I love to watch all my OGs, Rolly Milligan, Vanilla Vic, Yosh, and honestly, when you got people like them leading us, and then it's all about tiers, and I'm tier 2 right now, and I want to be a tier 1. So, and that's my big brother. So, whenever you watching them and seeing them, there's no way at their age you can't do the same thing. So I'm gonna make sure I can do whatever I can to help my big brothers and make sure that they not thinking that I'm wavering off.
Okay, what do you finally need to do to continue to earn your reps here in camp, but also take that next step so that you are ready for the regular season?
Sure. Honestly, I'm doing a lot. I think I'm taking initiative to everything that I need. I got a lot of film work. I love film, so I'm starting to really actually like film, really like it. I always liked it, but now I'm trying to invest in it, and that's probably what's going to take me to the next level. Just seeing, knowing football and seeing what other teams want to do, my team want to do, and just trying to make the game slow in the matrix.
Dance moves? No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to talk dance moves.
Not yet.
Antoine, appreciate your time. All the best at camp moving forward.
Thank you, baby.
Sask Lotteries has over 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
You love the country, and you love driving in your own vehicle. You'll love it even more when Municipal Hail Insurance pays all your out-of-pocket expenses. Business is growing, so are the number of claims. Work for Municipal Hail and travel the prairies with a fun and motivated team. When there's no snow on the roads, your music, their dime. Industry leader Municipal Hail is currently hiring crop hail adjusters, health benefits, and pension contributions too. Join your farmer-friendly insurer. See municipalhail.ca.
Out here in southern Saskatchewan, the sun shows up for work every day. Might as well make it earn its keep.
That's where Keln Solar comes in. These folks travel all over the province helping people put solar on their homes, farms, and cabins. They're local guys, Sask-born, Sask-raised, and not going anywhere. Except, to your place. Now's the time to start planning for spring and summer 2026 bookings. Give Keln Solar a call and they'll come show you your best options. Keln Solar. They move the power so you don't have to. KelnSolar.com.
Picture this, a crust so golden it could blind a superhero. Toppings piled higher than a stack of pancakes on a trampoline. Every bite, a flavor explosion. Every slice, a hug for your taste buds. Garlic, roasted to perfection. Pepperoni, perfectly spicy. Western Pizza is so good, you'll argue who gets the last slice. Western Pizza, dine in or take out today.
And get it hot, get it fast. Western Pizza.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. Powered by Prairie Land Rentals. From power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need for your job. 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. Time now for the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League Report with Benny Walchuk on the Sportscage. The SJHL report is brought to you by Chad Reach, Senior Wealth Advisor, GP Financial Services, and Aviso Wealth. If you need a second opinion on your retirement plan, Chad and his local team are available for a no-obligation meeting.
Okay, another impromptu SJHL report here for Chad Reach, Senior Wealth Advisor of Visa Wealth and GP Financial Services. Joining us from Summerside, PEI Commissioner of the SJHL, Kyle McIntyre. Before we get to yesterday's game, which was Monday's game, let's go back to Saturday, because we talked to you Friday or Thursday. Right? I'm getting all the days mixed up, but the Flin Flon Bombers played the Ontario rep on Saturday, and after dropping their first game, you and I, Ty, wasn't a must win, but obviously you wanted to get back in the win column. And Saturday it was the Toronto Patriots 7-2 over the Bombers, moving the Bombers to 0-2. We were texting back and forth. You said the Patriots have like one outstanding line.
Oh yeah. They have a line of three guys, and I don't have the roster in front of me right now, but the three players amassed 80 points in the Ontario Junior Hockey League playoffs. 80 as a line, and they were fast and they were dynamic, and everything was tick-tack goal for those guys. And I think, Barney, I think that probably what I would say is that the Flin Flon Bombers were built to win the SJHL. And probably no one's secret, not that you would know this because you've never been there, but the Whitney Forum is a very tight arena. And when you're heavy and big and physical, you can beat most teams because you can't run and gun in the Whitney Forum. And so really, probably the Bombers have probably three defensemen that are smaller and more mobile. And then they have probably 4 or 5 that are not really fleet of foot. And this Patriot team is really quick. They generated a lot of offense off the rush, and they certainly did that. And I wouldn't say that Charlie Tritt had his best game that particular day, Barney. I would say probably the first period, I think everyone was shocked when the Patriots came out and it was 2-0. But the Bombers were battling back, and they're being physical, and they're trying to stop the cycle and trying to get the cycle going. And then they got a goal, the Patriots, with 27.5 seconds left, which really seemed to deflate the Bombers. And so the second period, the Patriots absolutely owned the Bombers. And so what do you do at that point as a coach? You say, hey, no, guys, you got to play for some pride here. We got to send them a message. Let's win the third period. And the Bombers did win the third period. And they were much better. I think that, they had some rust the first game. They didn't play like Bombers could have played. They probably should have beat College La Francais. They didn't. And then they got up against the Patriots. And I think initially when I looked at the pool, that was probably the team that I was the most fearful for, because I knew they are high-octane offense. And I knew that really the Bombers don't really have any game-breaking skill. They got a lot of hard skill and a lot of depth, but they got to manufacture their goals off the cycle and with high tips and with banging off in rebounds. This Patriot team is... Wow, they got good back in. They got good goaltending, and they got that one line that is just phenomenal.
Okay, so then day off, 0-2, which no one expected.
Right.
And then yesterday, Monday, it's Greater Sudbury. Right.
Bombers come out 4-1 first period, final score 6-4. How was this game for us that didn't watch it?
Well, I'll tell you, the Bombers played Flin Flon Bomber hockey, Barney. They changed the lineup a little bit. They put in a little more speed, and they came out and they pounded right away. They were going hard. They were cycling. They were getting some high tips. They were in full control of that game. And probably the worst lead in hockey, Barney, is a 3-goal lead, right? And so it was 4-1. And then, you know what? Charlie did not look sharp in the second. They got within 4-3, and then he was lights out in the third again. And the Bombers found a way to get it done. And they outplayed Sudbury for the whole game. Like they were the better team. They were the superior team. They took it to them physically. They were playing with some speed and some pace, getting some high tips, going to the net hard, throwing it back, creating that offense from high to low, and really played like the Bombers can play. I think if they would have played against the Patriots like they did against the Sudbury team, I think they probably would have had a better fate.
It's turning into one of those tournaments, and people out there that are listening, they've been in them in hockey tournaments, they've been in them in fastball tournaments, or baseball, or volleyball, whatever your sport is, where it's like, all right, well, these guys are going to lead this pool, and then this pool's a wash. No, because now I look at how things are shaping up. Truro, who the Flin Flon Bombers have tomorrow, they hammer Toronto 6-1.
Yeah.
Did you watch that game? Did Toronto put in a peewee goalie? What's going on?
Wow, boy, oh boy. Like the thing about the Patriots is they don't clear out the front of the net. And Truro did win the Maritime Hockey League, and they're a good team. They really hadn't showed very well the 2 games previous, and I kind of thought they would be a cakewalk for the Bombers. But
they beat Quebec. They beat Quebec Commish on Sunday.
I know they did, and the Quebec team has not played as well as they played against the Bombers in the 2 games subsequent, Barney. So I mean that's the way this tournament looks. And now when you look at the pool the Bombers are in, there's one team with 6 points, and that's the Patriots, and they lost today. And now there's 4 teams sitting with 3 points. So it's 3 points for a win, it's 2 for an overtime win, and 1 for an overtime loss. And so then you got a logjam. So somebody with an abacus is going to have to figure this out probably after Wednesday. Like it's going to be one of those things where it's, like in this tournament too, like there's no such thing as sportsmanship. You need to run up the score. Because the goal differential becomes so important, right? Because there's so many, like all these teams are champions of their league. And I know traditionally the Northern Ontario League and the SI and the CCHL are not great leagues. And so usually it's the Manitoba and Alberta and the SJHL and the OJ that kind of battle it out. But you know what? These are all good teams. There's lots of parity here this year. And you know what? I know that the majority of people in Saskatchewan are rooting for the Bombers. There are some people, however, that are not rooting for the Bombers, and that's kind of frustrating. But they're in tight. It's good, and you know what? They were our best representative. They're probably the team that stack up the best against this national competition. And you know what? If they get into playoffs, anything can happen, Barney. Like in the quarterfinals, it's 2 versus 3 in each of the pools. That's going to cross over, but we're not going to know until the last game Wednesday who's going to be in the playoffs.
Regardless, tomorrow, Wednesday, it's the pie in the face game, me versus Arash Madani, Truro, Nova Scotia. But regardless, Flin Flon has to win this game. First and foremost, they have to win and then try and win by as many goals as possible. Is that right?
Well, I think if they win, I think they'll be all right. So what do we have left? We have, Truro versus the Bombers. That's going to be a good game.
College, Quebec versus Toronto.
And then we have
Sudbury.
Like on the other side, we got Canmore that's going to play Niverville. That should be a good game. Canmore, of course, is coached by former Swift Current Bronco Andy Milne, and assistant coach Andy Milne had a little visit with Andy the other day. And Andy Milne, I don't know if you knew him, Barney, from your time in Swift Current, but he is a very funny individual. The commission's ribs were sore after sitting with Andy Milne for about an hour.
Might be a good Monday Nooner episode, is what you're saying.
He would be a good one to do, for sure. He would be.
Okay, and then you talk about the style that the Flin Flon Bombers play. That I watched it with my own eyeballs. Whitney Forum, big, strong, tough. Now, Turo kind of sounds the same way. So are we going to have the same styles going at it tomorrow?
I don't know if they're the same style, but I mean they're big and they can skate. Like every line can play, and they got a decent back end. The back end is really big, and they can skate well. Like like most of the back end, well, they'll probably play NCAA or U Sport easily, but they're big, they're mobile, they move the puck super well. And so really that'll be the difference. Their goaltender, they have a 16-year-old phenom that led them throughout the playoffs. He was on Canada's World Under-17 team. He broke his thumb, and so he's not available for this tournament. So the guy who stood on his head the other night here versus the Patriots is the backup goalie. Right-handed guy, looks like Tony Esposito in the Chicago Blackhawks uniform. So yeah, it's crazy. Like when I'm looking at the scoring, so this Cole Cooksey is the guy from the Toronto Patriots, and so already in the tournament he's got 8 points in 2 games. Tonight he was probably held off the showcase or the score sheet. And then this Luciano Bruno is another guy. He's got 5 points. He's with the Patriots, and Luke Howard, and like it's a really good line. But probably with Canmore, they got a guy named John Zabel that was in the Western Hockey League for a while, and he's kind of the leading guy here with Canmore. So there's some good players. There's some good teams. It's fun to watch. And really, you know, until the final, it's anyone's tournament.
And I think though too, because and going back to the Flin Flon style, they get into the playoffs. That style could travel well. That's the kind of
that's the key piece. And I mean, you know, like it's gonna be a grind. Like I mean, they gotta go 4 in a row to win this thing, and so they can do that. But I mean, if you get into the playoffs, it won't be as wide open as the round robin, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, and let's close with a piece for Summerside PEI Travel and Tourism. Give us the latest. What have you explored? What makes Summerside tick?
Okay, so I mean, we're looking at the Atlantic Ocean. So the rink is right on the Atlantic Ocean. So I can look out my hotel room, see the Atlantic Ocean. Of course, we talked the other day about what a beautiful facility it was. The thing about it, Barney, is that Summerside really doesn't open up until the long weekend. So they have a really long boardwalk that would probably be similar to Halifax that goes right along the Atlantic Ocean, but nothing opens until May the 19th. So like even the bars and restaurants, lots of bars, lots of restaurants here that are cool, but they close at 9 o'clock.
Oh,
so it really doesn't have a nightlife, and it really doesn't matter that they're hosting a national event. But it's a historical place. Like it's quite scenic. Found a couple little holes in the wall. Waterfront fish markets, and had some lobster tails, and had lobster, and had chowder soup, and lobster rolls. So the seafood, not that I'm a seafood guy, but when in Rome, you got to have seafood. And so certainly did that. And no, it's good. People are super friendly, and people know what's going on here. They ask you about it when they see that you're wearing something from the Centennial Cup. And it's a great place. A lot of hockey players from here. So Gerard Gallant, he was at the game the other night. He came over to the hotel and had a couple beers in the lounge. Ran into a guy named Carson McKinnon. Carson used to play at Notre Dame for a number of years. He played there for 3 years, played AAA there, and then he played in the Quebec Major Junior League, and then finished with Summerside. He's over playing in Division II in Germany. So sat down with him, met him at the bar the other night, had a couple pops with him. We went to the Legion one night, Barney, met the owner of the Summerside Capitals. It was his birthday. And he says, "You guys got to come to the Legion. There's a live band." And so,
come on, this Fantasyland stuff.
So Kevin Surratt and Doug Lean, the commissioner of the SJHL, we went to the Legion, and we met a lot of local people here from Summerside, and we had ourselves a time and got into a heck of a shuffleboard game. And little did I know that Kevin Surratt, commissioner of the SJHL, is a shuffleboard ringer. Like, he lit her up. He did us proud. He did so. Like, it was good. So we've had a great time here. The hockey's been great, Barney. Usually you get a couple games that are kind of couple turkeys today, but generally the competition's good. Hospitality's been good. The rink is beautiful. People are friendly. The food has been good. Just no nightlife.
Okay, well, maybe in the next, we'll catch up. Let's catch up maybe Wednesday. And in that time, I wonder if you could track down the Kinsman Club of Summerside, maybe the Eagles Club, or a Union Center. Any of those three. Just try and hit a trifecta, because you already got the Legion under your belt, and then see if you could get Crib, Kaiser, or Euchre.
Well, I would love to play Crib, but here's a Union or a Legion rule that I learned the other night. You cannot wear your lid into the Legion. If you're wearing a lid in the Legion, you buy everyone around in a bar. It's a respect thing. Did you know that, Barney?
I did. I don't know if the last time I was in a Legion, if I've ever been in a Legion. But how much was a pint at the Legion in Summerside?
Not sure. I didn't have to buy a drink. The locals kept bringing me beers. So
what a gig. I love it. You're just networking out there, playing shuffleboard, going to hot tubs. What a life. I love. Okay, so we can catch up. Wednesday, and fingers crossed that Flin Flon beats Truro.
Yeah, hopefully. Let's hope so. Yeah, absolutely. Go Bombers.
All right. Thanks, Commish.
Okay, bud. Anytime.
That is the Commissioner of the SJHL, Kyle McIntyre, on an impromptu SJHL report. Here's Flin Flons at the National Championships. It is the Sports Cage. We are the home of local sports in Saskatchewan on 620 CKRM.
Downtowns across Saskatchewan echoed with cheers, church bells, and the crackle of radio static marking the end of a long war. I'm Ryan Young, and this is 100 years of CKRM. May 8th, 1945. Victory in Europe Day. The war in Europe was over, and Saskatchewan was jubilant. Factory whistles blew, church bells rang, and from Regina to Prince Albert, folks danced in the streets in celebration of the news. Thousands of men and women from the province had served overseas, and their families prayed they would now come home. While joy filled the air, the memories of loss were close behind. More than 4,000 Saskatchewan soldiers never returned. VE Day marked